Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Adnan. I'm just waiting for a few more people to join in, and I'll start the class shortly.
Assalamualaikum Adnan bhai, how are you?
Welcome, Salam Ashish. How are you?
Not bad, not bad.
Excellent.
Just wanted to tell you, I actually had a video interview. It went pretty well, actually.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Yeah, she was the owner. It was pretty much the same one that we spoke about that day, so it was pretty good. But she has another partner. She wasn't that technical, so
Right.
I guess I'm gonna have another interview with the partner now.
Okay. Very good. Good luck, man.
Thank you. So your help, man.
Okay. I'll just wait for 2 more minutes and we will start.
Hi, can you give us like 5 more minutes? Let me finish our Maghrib prayer.
Oh, okay. Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Adnan,
Yes,
hi.
please go ahead.
I just wondering, can we record this?
Yes, all of these sessions are recorded, and and these are provided to all of the students for
So it will
review.
be recorded by you, and then you will provide us the link, right?
Exactly, exactly. So
Okay. Do
there
you
is a
need
class.
the?
Yes, please
Yeah.
go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So yes, all of the sessions are recorded. All the notes are recorded. Labs will be provided. So yeah, so Google Drive will be provided to all of the students.
So you need the. You're gonna post it on the WhatsApp
Uh,
group, or
So there is a WhatsApp group. So after today's session, everyone who is interested will be added to our WhatsApp group. Yes.
oh, okay, or shall I provide you my email address? That might be
You will
easier.
have to provide your email address in order to get access to the Google Drive with all of the resources.
Okay. Can I type it here on the chat?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Thanks, Adnan.
You're most welcome. Okay, thank you, Ravi, for providing your email address.
Thanks, Adnan. I will look forward to
Sure.
get connect with you.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're most welcome. Hi, Nushin. Okay, so there are many people that has that it's their first day. So I'm going to start with the really basic here, and also provide a full course introduction. Um, Many of the students who are in North America, in Canadian side, uh, they requested to start this session 10 minutes late because they have prayer time uh, in on their side. So in the meantime, while they all join in, most of the people are already joined in. So I'm going to give a quick introduction of this training, and most of the students who were part of this training, uh, they already know about this 3-in-1 cloud management training. So in order to connect to these trainings, first of all, if you feel like, I mean, if you uh, on your side, if there is any voice distortion, or if you're not able to hear me properly, you please let me know in the chat window. So there's a chat window on the right, I mean, somewhere on the right and left chat window. You can type your query in the chat window. I'm looking at the chat window and try to reply during the training, or you can always unmute your mic and always ask a question. And the best way to attend this training is to open the link in your computer. So open the presentation link in your computer. That will be convenient, and dial in using your local number for audio. Because sometimes due to internet from mainly your laptop, if you're connected to the presentation and the audio, sometimes the voice is not clear. So most of the time Zoom is excellent. Zoom will work fine in these trainings. We've been using Zoom for a long time now. But if you feel any voice distortion, you're not able to hear my voice properly, let me know in the chat window. And the best way is to just use the audio from your phone. So, quick introduction in regards to this training. So, this training is basically 3-in-1 cloud management training. We started with Microsoft Azure. We just finished Azure 2 weeks back, and then we had kind of a break. So it was not. I mean, we were scheduled to go on right after one training, right after the Azure training, but there was a break, and some of the students went for the exam as well. Also, there was a custom lab provided to all of the students. I'll share with you all of the way we run the training. And this training we have started is it's AWS Solutions Certified Solutions Architect Associate training, and this is so I've been providing these trainings for a long time, around 5-6 years, all Microsoft trainings, and including the cloud training that as well. But since cloud portals, cloud services are changing all the time. So I had to recreate this training right from scratch. So this is, you can say this is AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate Training 2020. So this is based on the current course requirement, current certification requirement. So first of all, my own introduction. My name is Ahmed Nan. So I've been working in cloud as a cloud architect for the last 7 years. Overall in IT, I've been 20 years in IT, working in all levels, starting from very basic level as a computer tech 20 years back, and um, and also I've been able to, so actually it is required. So I was able to get all of the latest certification with time, and certification is required in this technology, especially in cloud. Now, you won't be able to get a job without a certification. So I was able to get all of the required certifications, and it basically pays off as well. So if you are certified, definitely certification, it's a little cost, but definitely it improves your career opportunities. It's now in cloud, it's like job security. So I've been working as a cloud architect for the last 5 years, worked in AWS, complete design implementation in AWS and Azure both. So worked in Canada for 10 years, worked in Middle East for 7-8 years. Currently, I'm located in Sydney, Australia. So my experience with cloud technology throughout the world, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. Companies are moving into the cloud exactly in the same manner with exactly same services. That's the beauty of IT. Wherever you go with these certifications are recognized everywhere. And most of the time, certifications are like certifications get you inside, get you uh, certificate gets the attract recruiters, and your hands-on experience plays a very strong role on the in the job placement. So so I've been working in servers virtualization, which is vSphere virtualization, VMware virtualization, and Hyper-V virtualization. Actually, all of these cloud technologies came from actually still they are based on both of these technologies, VMware virtualization and Hyper-V virtualization. The physical data centers are all based on these virtualization. I was able to work on all versions of VMware and Hyper-V. Also, I've been an SME for SCCM, SCOM, SCVMM, which are System Center Suite, then Active Directory right from the start to the latest 2019, and Exchange emailing system from 5.5 to Office 365, the latest one, and also worked on Citrix. Now, this all knowledge helped me have a 360 view of 360 view of this technology. Especially helped me in migrating. Nowadays, companies are migrating. Many of 50% of the companies are migrated to cloud. Rest of the 50%, which are basically now that will start from next year. Due to COVID, everything was stopped, everything was cold, but now most of the private companies are moved, and government are still they are still they are now initiating migration. They are now thinking of migrating their environments to cloud. So especially in Middle East, and also now, so there will be a huge wave, next wave of migration, I would say. Wave. So nowadays a wave is a scary word, since we went through this COVID first wave and second wave. I would say this is a second wave of migration, which is in the first wave, medium to large size organizations moved into cloud, and now governments are planning to move into cloud. So there will be a lot of job opportunities in that aspect, based on the cloud market. Now, AWS, so this training will give you confidence, skills, and experience you need to pass the certified solutions exam, and to land a job as a solutions architect. So this training's name is AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. So one more time, if you have any questions at all, there is a chat window on the side. You can type your questions, basic question, complex questions, anything at all. This is a training and everyone is learning, and I'm open to questions anytime during the training, after the training. So you can uh, clear clear your confusions in regards to cloud technology, in regards to this training, in regards to basics, or basic understanding, or maybe even advanced understanding. So with this training, you will be able to become a solutions architect and confidently pass AACO C02 certification exam. This is the exam certification. This is certification exam number for this AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate exam. So DV asked a question: how much is the starting salary from after certification? Well, there are two levels. Like in IT market, there are three levels: first level support, second level, and third level. In cloud, there is no first level support. In cloud starts from second level and up, and third level support. So you will either get a job as a cloud admin, or you will get a job as a cloud architect. And likewise in Azure, in AWS, and in GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform, which is the next training after this. All of them has two levels, which is either you be a cloud admin or a cloud architect. For cloud admin, roughly the salaries are anywhere from 60 to you can say it's around 100, and as an architect, the same salaries are from 120 to 150, 60 on that side as a permanent role. As a contractor, it's for a cloud admin, if you are really a cloud admin. I mean, what do I mean by really a cloud admin? So in order to become a cloud admin, so in order to become a cloud admin, what we need to do, we need actually two things here. Number one, certification. So that will attract the recruiters to you, and also the companies are interested in having certified people. And why companies are having and interested in certified people? Not because they know that certified people are experts. No, people are expert even without certification, but they need certified people. Companies need certified people because companies get discounts. So companies get discounts from Microsoft and AWS. So they get discounts in their services, in their charges when they hire certified people. And also the other reason is this technology is a bit complex. It's not like straightforward IT environment. So there are a lot of moving parts in managing the cloud. So I would say so going back to your question, what will be the salary after certification, so that we are trying to understand. And in that, my the first answer, the first part of this answer is that you must be certified, number one. And what are we trying to understand? We're trying to understand who is a real cloud architect and why there are many people sitting in the market and they're not getting job. And they are claiming to be a cloud architect, a cloud admin or cloud expert. So first of all, you need to have certification, number one. Number two, and why company needs certification? Because Microsoft and these cloud providers, they give discounts to these companies in their services. And why certification? Why Microsoft and AWS is kind of having this type of requirement from companies that you must hire certified people? Because the technology, the cloud is a bit complex. And why is it complex? Because so these technologies, Microsoft and AWS, both of these technologies are deployed in data centers. Okay, and in data centers, there are servers connected to each other. Then within the servers, there are applications inside connected to the servers. The normal physical data center is very simple as compared to a cloud data center. In cloud, there are hundreds and hundreds of services you will be managing. If you change in one place, that change will be reflected in many different places within the cloud. So I mean, for the first reason since the cloud environment is complex and they cannot just rely on any person who is claiming to have a cloud and let them work on the cloud technology. So for that reason, certified people are first requirement in getting the job in the cloud technology. So first one is certification, and the second requirement is strong hands-on. So strong hands-on. Now, strong hands-on is that if you're claiming to be a cloud architect or a cloud expert, you must have a strong hands-on experience working with cloud technology. And what is a strong hands-on? So normally I give an example of to Google something. How do you Google something? So everyone knows you need to open internet or Chrome, and then you would go to google.com, and then within google.com you would search something and press submit, and you will get your search. So this is kind of a strong hands-on. Exactly in the same manner, you should be able to kind of prove your knowledge in all these different cloud services. So you need to prove your knowledge in managing VMs within Azure. So Azure has virtual machines inside. Then there are cloud services. There are databases. There are cache, and there is a blob storage. Then there is Azure websites. Exactly in the same manner, you need to prove yourself that you are able to manage EC2 instances in AWS, S3 as a storage. Then you have notification service. You have emailing service. You have different type of databases sitting inside the cloud. So that type of strong hands-on required. Once you have these both, which is certification and strong hands-on, I think you should be easily able to start with minimum $45 an hour and above, going up to 70 as a Azure admin, and as a Azure architect, it should be anywhere from 70 and above, 90, and it goes to 150 depending on where you are. There is a little difference between US market and a Canadian market. US market is more open. US market, same thing, same contract that you get in Canada, that is between 45 and 70. In US it starts from 70 and like 90. So, and same goes for Australia as well. So due to the market difference, there is some rate changes, but you get a decent salary for sure. Uh, there is another question from Mohan, that what is the need to learn all the three cloud services? Instead, we can become an expert in one of the cloud services. It's a good question. What is the need of 3-in-1 training? Now, it's exactly the same way as you go into a market and you're looking for a job, and you have one product to sell. Okay, so I mean that's very simple. I know that everybody understands that if you have three products, you have a better chance of selling those products and getting some profit from three different products. So product one, product two, and product three. But here we are talking about technology. So you need to become an expert of one. And so it is said that focus on one technology, become an SME of one technology, and then you will survive in the job market. So I think this was a long gone you can say culture in IT. In IT now, you have to have a lot of things under your belt. So as being a cloud architect, working for many different organizations, yes, if you're looking for an Exchange admin, if companies are looking for Exchange admin nowadays, they prefer person with Exchange experience and Office 365 experience. Okay, 365, and that is it. If they are looking for somebody as system admin job is finished. There is no such thing as system admin nowadays. Nowadays, system admin jobs are replaced by cloud admin. And when it comes to cloud admin, nowadays, cloud admin, a person needs to be an expert on cloud as well as the infrastructure. So cloud and infrastructure. So two things. Okay. And just like I said, there are two types of jobs in both of these cloud. There are two types of job in the cloud market. So one is actually, I need to get my whiteboard here. So whiteboard. Okay, just a second here. Okay, so for now, I'll just use this one as. Okay, so we were trying to understand why we need to learn all three technologies. So I mean, this is so three cloud technologies. Let me change this to. Okay, just a second. This is Paintbrush is not a good board. Uh, so so why three different cloud technologies? The reason is very simple. Actually, I'm going to use this quickly, and then I'm going to bring up my whiteboard. So in cloud, there are two types of jobs available. There is something called cloud admin, and the second one is cloud architect. Cloud architect job. Now, for being a cloud admin, your responsibility is not as an architect. Architect meaning that you know everything about the cloud. I mean, nobody knows everything about the cloud because all of the cloud technologies, they have hundreds and hundreds of services. No one can claim to become an expert of all of the services. But a cloud architect has a full view of all of the services and can manage all of the services. But as a cloud admin, you're not required to design anything. You're not required to implement anything. But your main purpose is to manage the existing services, manage the infrastructure. Cloud infrastructure. So what is managing a cloud infrastructure? So managing a cloud infrastructure meaning you already have servers running, you already have storage running, you already have networking in place, and everything and applications and everything are designed, implemented. All your job is to make sure that these all services are 24/7 running. Okay. So in doing that, as being a cloud admin, you need to have a good understanding of main cloud services that I'm going to go into in few minutes. So guys, what was the question? The question is that why do we need to learn three in one? Why is it beneficial to become to know the three technologies? And what are the three technologies? Number one, Azure. Number two, AWS, and number three, GCP. So these three technologies, you can become an expert on one of them, or you can train yourself on three of them and get a better job perspective. And so all managers, hiring managers, they understand a person who has worked on Azure, who has worked on AWS, who has worked on GCP as being a cloud admin, not as an architect. They know that that person will be able to better handle a cloud in as compared to a person who is only an expert of only one technology. So if I'm an expert on Azure and not on AWS and GCP, I have definitely I have less chance of getting that job as compared to the person who is having all these technologies. But then going back to your question, so you know a foundation knowledge of all three technologies, and you're not expert of all the three cloud technologies. So as being a cloud, you're not expected to be an expert of the complete cloud technology. You're expected to understand all of the services and can manage these services. And the second thing, all managers and all companies understand, so I do interviews as well, I understand as well, that a person who has worked on Azure and AWS and GCP has a better understanding of the cloud services when it comes to a multi-cloud environment. So nowadays, the companies who are hosting their infrastructure. So so I'm going to go into cloud. I know there might be few people who are completely new to cloud. Actually, let me ask this question to everyone. So in the chat window, can you type just maybe 2 words in the chat window? What is your previous cloud experience? Are you, or do you already know cloud, or is cloud technology a completely new subject for you? If it is a completely new subject for you, just type new in the chat window. So you can just type new in the chat window so that I know that cloud is okay. So there are few people that are new to cloud technology. So don't worry about the terminologies that I'm using. So I am going to go with the basics here. Okay. Going back to the question, why do we need to learn 3 different cloud technologies? So the answer is very simple. The person who has worked on all 3 of them has a better understanding of cloud. And all of the managers, companies hiring, they understand as compared to the person who has only worked on Azure. So let's look at the flip side. The flip side of this is if the person is expert on Azure, and haven't worked in AWS and GCP, that's a totally different side of this. So on one side, a person who has worked on all 3 of them, meaning that this person is able to log into Azure. This person is able to this person knows the services in all 3 cloud technologies, and this other person has only worked in Azure. So basically, this other person needs to start walking, learn the basics of other 2 cloud technologies. So yeah, so there is a big, huge difference between the 2 persons. So this will definitely help you get in the job market faster as compared to others. Okay, so going back to, so now in this training, so where is it? So in this training, we are going to go through pass certification exam and become solutions architect. The AWS Certified Solutions Architect is one of the most valuable in-demand cloud certification available, covers all the core AWS aspects and it's a fantastic entry point into your public cloud platform in the world today. And AWS is at the top, by the way, at the moment. And getting certified can help improve your confidence and get interviews, but it's a skill gained along the way, which matters a lot. And with this course, you will gain the real world skill you need to perform well in the interview and function as a mid-level. And this is a mid-level AWS solutions architect. So this training is suitable. This training is suitable for all the IT newcomers and anyone looking to change their career, because we will be basically starting from really basics. And these technologies and cloud technology is not difficult to understand if we are able to put our time honestly. And what is the putting in time on honestly, meaning that there are practical labs that needs to be completed. We will start from really basics in AWS, understanding all of the cloud services, and there will be a lot of practical. So a newcomer, anyone looking for change, can start with these trainings. Experienced engineers or consultants who are interested in upgrading their skills, and IT managers looking to understand their platform and environment, and project managers running or involved in AWS projects. By the end of this course, you will be prepared to pass the associate level AWS certified solutions exam. The AWS certification is must have for any IT professional with an average salary of 100 USD. Yes, just like I said, on the USD side, it's 100 for the associate level, and in the Canadian side, it's around anywhere from like 70 and 100. Certificate in AWS technology can boost your salary to 26%. And actually this is required. And the average salary of certified IT professional is on average 11.7% higher than those are without the certification. Actually, companies are, as soon as they see that you're not certified, they will definitely, they won't shortlist the person who is not certified. So certification is must. And so your question might be that do they verify it from somewhere? Yes, they do. Because in order to get the discounts from these cloud vendors, in order to get discounts from the cloud vendor, they will need to register your ID, certification ID with them. So this is how Microsoft or excuse me, this is how Microsoft and AWS would know that how many certified people are there. And so we will start from really basics. We will start from a broad overview of AWS platform. We will also compare all of the Azure and AWS services together. So there are many students sitting here. Almost all of the students that were part of the previous training, they completed the Azure training hands-on and concepts, and some of them has already passed the exam, and congrats to all of you who have passed the exam. Rest of you, I would highly recommend within this first week or next week, because you've already been preparing for this exam, please go for the exam as soon as possible, because this next exam will be ready for you. So the training will be this training will be around, it runs for 6 to 8 weeks. And within 6 to 8 weeks, I would say before GCP starts, you should go for this exam as well. So we will start from really basics. No programming knowledge is needed in order to get this certification or get the skills. Do we need any sort of programming in cloud services? I mean, why am I saying that no programming knowledge is required? I mean, in order to become in order to become a cloud admin or a cloud architect, no programming knowledge is required. But if you are from the programming background, then it will help a lot. It will help a lot because this can because people who know who are having programming knowledge, they can work on the DevOps side of the cloud, and I will introduce DevOps later on. But for this training, in order to become in order to become an associate or a cloud admin, no programming knowledge is required. No previous AWS experience is required. Even if you have never logged into AWS platform before, you'll build the foundation to pass the AWS certified solutions architect exam after completing this training. There is a question from DV, and then will the training provide a total newbie with a hands-on experience? Absolutely, yes. So what do you mean by total newbie? Newbie to an IT technology, or to IT world, or newbie in the cloud? So, and Mohan asked a question to IT. Yes, for sure. I mean, if you can dedicate yourself in my previous training, there are few students that were completely new, and they were able to understand all of the services. They were able to understand all of the labs, and these labs are not very difficult. So, okay, so yeah, TV is saying that he's from the chemical engineering background. So cloud services, yes, you do need, I would say, you do need an understanding of basic understanding of IT, basic understanding of server in order to build an interest. So I would say, so in this training, anyone can start understanding with cloud training, but you need to have that interest of working with IT services. So nowadays, all of us are working on computers. So at home, we are working on laptops, and then smartphones are almost like computers as well. So anyone can start with this. There is another question: what certifications are targeted for Azure and GCP with this course? So I'm going to introduce those certification as well. So in Azure, it's AZ 104 exam, which is geared towards the Cloud Foundation or Cloud Admin exam, whereas for AWS, it's the associate level exam. So there are two, associate and professional. In the later slides, I will introduce those different type of certification here. Syed is asking a question: which certification exam we will be able to attempt after this training? It's a good question, and I think you missed the first 10 minutes of this training. And the certification exam that we are targeting is right here. SAACO02, which is AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate exam. Okay, so what is the requirement? What is the requirement? No previous AWS knowledge required. All you need to have is a laptop or a workstation to perform a practical labs. So laptop is a requirement which you already have. You are connected to, you might be connected from your smartphone. Guys, I would say that when you start with this training, when you have decided to go for this training, I would say we need to take it seriously. Seriously, in terms of you can watch this, you can be part of the training from your phone, but you won't be able to perform any labs from the phone. So so a laptop or a workstation would be excellent if you have. I mean, for the training, because during the training we normally go from concepts. First we understand concepts, and then we try to complete the lab within the class, or I will provide you with the lab instructions and lab videos. So another question from Rabia is that I came from a science background. Is it going to be difficult for me to get AWS certification? It's not. It's not difficult. So getting the certification is not difficult. I will share with you all of the tips and techniques in order to be certified. But for the hands-on, yes, you do. It might be, if you're not from the IT background, it might be a little difficult in the beginning, but I will start from really basics, and I will be able to help you out all with the understanding of all of the lab steps and concepts. And also we work in a team as a group as well. So there are all of the other participants. There are many people that are ready to help each other as well. But yes, we will start from the really beginning. Another question is this a type of online job from home, or must go to a company? It's a good question. So is it kind of a work from home, or is it a company? So nowadays, most of the cloud jobs are work from home. And I think this will be the culture that is developing, and most of the companies are moving towards work from home for all the cloud opportunities, for all the cloud, for all of the cloud-based jobs, and even the IT jobs. Mostly most of the jobs will be work from home, especially now in these COVID days. All of the companies from the last 7-8 months, everyone is working from home. And I think this will be, companies will be saving on their, and many of the companies have removed their IT department, IT department as a physical. They have completely removed. They have completely removed their offices, and most of the people are working from home. IBM and Microsoft, and so mostly it will be, if you're a cloud admin, you'll be working from home mostly. So. Another question from Noshin is there a co-op with this training? Not as such. So co-op, so just like I said in the beginning, since the cloud technology is a bit on the complex side. I mean, in the real environment, you have many moving parts. I mean, think of Think of any service that has, so think of a simple environment, a simple environment to manage. So if I say simple environment to manage, so what is a simple management in IT? Simple management is IT, an IT professional is required to work on servers and make sure that these servers are working fine. Or maybe that person is only responsible for maintaining the desktop or the office or office applications. So very simple. But in cloud, you have many services. There are many moving parts. So I don't think companies allow any type of co-ops in the cloud environment. So no, they will. So I mean, it's the opposite to this. They need certified people to start with. So first you need to be certified, then only you will be able to get into the IT market. Another question, I'm working as a workday consultant. Would it help me in there? Workday consultant. Okay. I need to understand what is a work day consultant. If you can a bit elaborate on this. So requirement. So guys, you can, I mean, if you want, you can always, you're most welcome to unmute your mic and you can ask your question in the mic as well. Otherwise, you can just type your question. So for this training, the requirement, there is no previous AWS knowledge required. We'll start from really basic. And okay, so Matchpin is saying it's an HR platform. Okay, so so if it is an HR platform working on computers, that will definitely help. That will definitely help. So another question, what is the percentage of people who get job after training in this field previous batches? So previous batches, I would say we have around 60 to 70% rate of people getting the job. Now, most of the people who were not able to get the job are because that either they didn't completed their certification or they were not able to prove themselves in the as being a cloud admin. But I mean, you can test that out. Anyone can test that out from you. Anyone can test. And in this training, not only newbies are sitting here, there are professionals, the IT professional people who have worked in IT for the last 10 years are sitting here as well. And they can confirm this too. As soon as you put AWS certification and Azure certification on your resume, you will start getting calls from recruiters because there is a requirement. There is a requirement. Companies are looking for these people. Yes, most of the time in the job description, they will ask for so many things, but the normal criteria is if you fit like 50% within the job description, I would say just apply for that job. So I would say honestly, just complete the certification and also have that very strong hands-on. Market is open. Market is open, and there is a requirement for this. So in order to complete this training, an email address or a credit card will be required because you will need to create a cloud account that requires a credit card. You might say that why would it require a credit card in registering for the cloud account? So they need a credit card in order to make sure that that it's not some bot that is logging in. It's not some machine or some hacking application. They just need to identify that this is a legit user who is creating a cloud who's creating an account in the cloud technology. So that's one aspect. So it's for your identity. They would need a credit card and your email address in order to create an account in AWS, Azure, or GCP. So all of them, there is a requirement. They won't charge anything unless you use their services for longer than longer than the specified time, the test time, and I will mention that. I will share with you those boundaries which we should not cross. Otherwise, they will charge for their services. And the course stays mostly within the free tier to avoid any cost. So I will be guiding you that which services will be charged automatically and which services are not charged. So we will start with a broad overview of AWS platform. No programming knowledge is needed. No previous AWS experience is required. Even if you have never logged into AWS platform, you'll build the foundation to pass AWS Certified Solutions Architect exam after completing this training. Okay, so now, so technical foundation of this course, and the course covers the essential architectural concepts as they relate to AWS, but also covers the core AWS aspect features in the exam, and the topics that are covered in this. Number one, we will be in depth going into identity and access management to start with. So this is a cloud service in which makes sure so this cloud, so in identity and access management, it is all about users and their access to cloud services. So user has access to the VMs in the cloud service or the storage and what type of access they have. So this is all in identity and access management. Secondly, we will be going in depth into Elastic Compute Cloud. Elastic Compute Cloud is basically it's all about building servers. It's all about building virtual machines. In Azure, this is known as VMs, whereas in AWS, these VMs are known as EC2 instances. So EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. I'm going to go into more detail about this, but basically this is nothing but virtual machine. This is nothing but virtual machine. So it's all about virtual machine. This chapter, how to build a virtual machine, how to edit a virtual machine, or delete a virtual machine, manage a virtual machine. Then it's all about virtual machine, EC2 instances. The next topic after that will be the storage, the simple storage service. So basically this service in AWS. So first one is IAM, which is about security. We will start from really basic, and we will understand that the basic concepts and then the real world example as well. EC2 instances is Elastic Compute Cloud. It's all about virtual machines. Simple storage service, which is S3 service in AWS. This is all about storage. This is all about storage. Now, understanding storage. I mean, if you can, so for all of the newbies in a cloud technology is nothing different from your laptop. So it's basically an operating system in cloud. So first of all, what is a cloud? So I'm going to go into that basic introduction. So if there are some keywords that, if there are some technical terms that I'm using, you're not able to understand, this is just an intro to the course. What will be covered in this training? I still have to go through the basics of cloud. So bear with me on this. I know that there are many terms that are new, even for the people who have finished the cloud, the Azure training. So all the three cloud trainings, all the three cloud environments are similar. I would say they are 60% similar, 60 to 70% similar. So when I say 60 to 70% similar, meaning Azure, Microsoft Azure Cloud, AWS Cloud, and GCP Cloud, and also the other cloud. So just like these, there is an OCI, which is Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, which is Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So exactly like this. Then there are many other cloud technologies as well out there. They're all similar in using all of these services. So they all have compute service, they all have storage service. The only difference is their terminologies are different. So in Azure, this is known as a blob storage, whereas in AWS, this is known as S3 storage. So we refer to that as S3 storage. So from now on, for everyone, whenever we refer to S3 simply means that it's about the disk, it's about the storage. Then the networking, VPC, virtual private cloud, it refers to networks. So this is all about network. This is all about network in the cloud. So we will be learning from basics to advanced level within networking. And then after that, they will be talking about auto scaling and launching templates. Auto scaling is a technology. So auto scaling is a technology in which we can automatically scale out number of services. So it's a technology, and this is basically the biggest selling, this is a feature for these cloud technologies. So what is auto scaling? Auto scaling is if you have one computer serving all of the users. So one computer, users are all connected to one computer or a server, and the computer is getting slow. The computer is getting slow with the users connected to that service. For example, they're all connected to a website, let's say Amazon.com. What are we trying to understand? We are trying to understand auto scaling here. And this is a full chapter. We'll be going through that. But what is auto scaling? Just like the word. And I'm trying to give you, I'm trying to give you understanding that most of the services mentioned here are according to what their names are. So auto scaling, meaning there is something that is scaling automatically. And what is scaling automatically? It is the cloud services scaling automatically. Let's say there are 100 users connected to this server or a computer. So 100 users connected to this website, Amazon.com, and this website is hosted on this server. In holiday season, since Amazon is a huge e-commerce website, we all know that. Other than Amazon being a cloud service, Amazon is an e-commerce website as well. You can buy and sell stuff on Amazon. So on Amazon, when there are 100 people connected, and let's say a holiday season coming from this weekend, which is week 1, and you're expecting 1 million users, 1 million users connecting to this website. So in cloud technology, in AWS, in Azure, in GCP, these servers will automatically scale out. So it will automatically, so as soon as the CPU reaches 80%, another server will be added. As soon as, so then this will drop down to, let's say 50% after 80. And then it will be, as soon as it reaches, since more users are connected, it will reach to 80%, CPU reaches 80%, it will automatically scale out. So automatically it is scaling out. And as soon as the load is shed and the users are disconnected after the holiday season, this will automatically remove these services. So that concept is known as auto scaling. So it will automatically increase the number of servers and services, and automatically decrease the number of service. So in this chapter, we will be discussing auto scaling. Then we will be, then the next chapter will be database solutions including DynamoDB, RDS, and Aurora DBs. We'll be going into that into more detail. This is all about databases. So all the applications, most of the business applications have databases in the background. So HR application will have a database in the background. Marketing application has a database in the background. So there is a database solution from AWS. Then there are many application services that are used within AWS. So simple notification service. So SNS is a simple notification service. Then we have SQS, which is queue service. Then we have emailing service, and we have then functions or batches, scripts that can run to manage all of these services. We have serverless architecture, and so serverless architecture using Lambda and API gateways. This is for applications that connect to the cloud services. We'll be going through that as well. And at the end, we will be understanding monitoring and deployment and security within the cloud services. So these are all of the topics that are required for the associate level certification. So we'll be going into depth. We'll be understanding the concepts. We also will be going through the labs. Okay. So guys, if you have any questions at all, you can type your question in the chat window. You can also unmute your mic and ask a question. And so since this is a brand new training, AWS, I still have to cover the basics here. People who have finished, who already know Azure, so many of the services are, seems to, for them, it's many of the services are exactly the same how you use them in Azure, but you still need to understand the terminologies and how they work. So a question from Rabia is, will you please go through the auto scaling again? Yes, for sure, auto scaling. So I mean, we will be getting into this chapter. We'll be getting into understanding auto scaling. How do you configure auto scaling? What are the requirements of auto scaling? But here, I just wanted you to understand that most of the terminologies here, they define themselves as well. So for example, auto scaling meaning that it automatically scale when there is a load on the services. I mean, you can think of a real world scenario. Real world scenario is, let's say a train. Let's say a train of people in a train with two compartments. So there are two compartments of this train, and let's say there are 200 people sitting in this train, and they are traveling from one place to another. They are traveling from one place to another. And most of the time when trains are traveling from one city to another, you cannot, I mean, during the travel time between one station to another station, you cannot expand, or you cannot add more compartments there. And if there would have been anything that can help add the compartment, that would be excellent. Why? Because you can accommodate more and more people within the train. So auto scaling is exactly the same feature, where when there is a load on the server, when there is a load on the website. So if I say load on a website, Amazon in AWS cloud, uh, it will automatically add more servers. So it will add more servers to this to this application, that will provide them more processing power. So it will automatically increase the number of servers, and as soon as after the holiday season, once there is a less load on these servers, it will automatically remove these resources. Now, why is it important to remove the resources? So you have one server. All of these cloud technologies are so by default they're pay as you go. So if you buy one server in cloud in AWS or Azure, you will be charged for using the services. And this is basically, you might think, okay, so pay as you go, it is pay as you go, and it might be expensive to use it. It might be expensive to use it. Yes, it might be expensive to use pay as you go because you're using, and they're charging. You are being charged for the use of services. But look at, I mean, so on the other side, you don't have to buy any infrastructure. You don't have to buy any infrastructure. So it is important that once you use a resource, you should shut it down. So in auto scaling, this is what happens. As soon as the application has less load, it will automatically remove this server. So once the server is removed, you won't be charged for this. And just like I said, we will be going into that detail. Before that, we need to cover all of the basics as well. And this will be, so once we are in the chapter, it will be like a breeze understanding this concept. So another question, when is the time AWS certification has expiration time? Yes. So once you get the certification, once you are certified, it's a 3 years. So you are certified for 3 years. Even if the exam expires, it doesn't matter, but you will be certified for 3 years. Within 3 years, you need to renew your certification. Ajmal asked a question. We have Azure AD in cloud. What do we have in authentication in AWS? In AWS, there is directory services. In AWS, it has its own directory services, and that directory services can be connected to Azure AD or the normal Active Directory in the physical environment. And then there is another question. Azure is 2 years. Yes, Azure is 2 years renewal time. Mostly, guys, so when it comes to certifications, expiry doesn't matter. Expiry doesn't matter. Why? Because I mean, being in the IT technology, being a cloud admin, being a system admin, being an Exchange or Office 365 admin, it is very natural that we recertify ourselves all the time. Why? Because once you start getting that benefit of certification, I mean, you might on the job, you're already on the job and spending like $150 or $200 in order to get the certification. That can, first of all, it will be a job security. So as soon as you advertise in your department, you're an Azure certified. So you were Azure, so I mean, you were Azure admin, and now you're an architect. Definitely, this will boost your job prospect, not only in that organization, in other organizations. So going back to that point, is there an expiration time in certification? Yes, there are expiration times, time in certification, but once you are certified, the certification remains on your resume for a long period of time. Okay, so Atif asked a question, or maybe Atif replied back to Ajmal in Azure Portal AWS integration. So yes. So Atif, Ajmal asked a question that is there any service that is equal to Azure AD service within AWS? Yes, it has its own directory service. It has its own directory service, but it can integrate with Azure AD and other services as well. So these are the topics on the screen that you're seeing that we will be discussing. So course outcomes. So at the end of this training, be ready to sit and pass this exam, which is SAAC02 exam with confidence. Confidence is in technology, technical interviews for the SA role, which is a solutions architect or solution admin role. Be able to design local, global, elastic architectures in AWS that are secure, cost-effective, resilient, efficient, adhere to AWS best practices, and you will get a practical experience working, building with AWS, and then working with different type of architecture within Azure, implementing serverless applications, and level up your career in terms of earnings, in terms of your hourly rate if you're certified in the cloud technology, as a foundation for AWS professional specialty level certification. So this is AWS is a hot certification in the market at the moment. Now the class resources. So class resources will be there. I will provide you with so we will use Google Drive that is private to all of the students within the training, and within this drive you will get class videos. So these videos, the main purpose of the video is just for you to review the concepts if you need to review it, and also the labs the labs we covered during the class at the same time. But class videos are not a replacement of that lecture. So the lecture the time that you're spending here, I will make sure as a trainer that your time is well spent. Meaning at the end of every lecture, you will gain something within this. Why am I saying this is not the class video? You won't be able to compare it the actual class, because the class video will be 3 to 4 hours video, number one. Number two, I mean, it takes very strong nerves in order to go through that 3 to 4 hours on your own within the class video. So with this, my point is that please do not miss any classes. Each class will be equal to one chapter. And there are a lot of labs here to complete as well, but class videos will be provided for your review. If you are interested in review, I would say that when you're reviewing the class video, you can change the speed to maybe 1.5x or 2x in order to go through the class video for review. Daily class notes, we will take the daily class notes as well, and class quizzes from each chapter, from every other chapter will be given to test the knowledge. And then we will provide you with the practice exam questions. So class, the Google Drive will be something like that here. So you will have a folder for AWS Cloud, and that will have all of these different resources. Okay, so any other question, anyone at this point? So since this is an online training, everyone, I would encourage everyone to participate in the class as much as possible, within the class, in terms of asking questions, and also in terms of, so when you ask questions, I mean, this is not only that you're asking question for your understanding, it's good for others' understanding as well at the same time. And also it will be a good idea to change gears. So for now, you're all listening to this training. I would say that when you ask a question, it's just a change of, a change of, a change in understanding, in change in understanding, better understanding of the concept. Okay, so about AWS certification, these are all of the certifications at the moment being offered by AWS. So there are 3 levels of certification. There is something called foundational certification. There is something called associate certification, and there is something called professional certification. So professional certification is solutions architect professional, and solution architect associate is that cloud admin level certification. So there are 2 types of jobs in this cloud market, one as being an admin and one as being an architect. One as being an architect. So architect, you need to get this certification. For admin, you need to get this certification. Then what is this certification? So this certification, okay, and let's see what is a break time. So normally we take a break at 11. So in 15 minutes, we will take a break. Yes, we must take a break for sure to freshen up. So we'll take a break in next 6 minutes. We'll take a 5 minutes break. What do you think? Okay. Okay, so so right here we have 3 types of certification. Okay, so Azure, Microsoft AWS, there is a foundational level certification, which is this one, cloud practitioner certification. This requires, so this certification is not required for anyone, I would say. I'm not sure that why do they even have this certification, because everything that is included in this certification is part of this certification. But you still have to, they will still charge you for this certification. You will become a cloud practitioner. I guess this was the first certification for long back when they started with the certification in AWS. But everything that is part of this certification is here, and there is no dependency of this certification for this certification. Yes, I would say there is a lot of dependency between professional and associate level certification. Can you directly go for this certification without the certification? Yes. Anyone can directly go on to the professional certification even without this certification. But I would suggest go for this certification before, because this will make your foundational knowledge strong, and then once you start working in AWS, then jump onto professional level certification. So this is the track that we are following to become Azure admin and architect. There is another track for developers. So the people with the programming background, they can take the developer level certification. You can also take SysOps admin certification, which is a combination of architect, infrastructure knowledge, and the development knowledge. So becoming a SysOps expert, so that's a huge value nowadays in the cloud, within the cloud technology, with the cloud vendors. But this is a totally different track. So if you ask me what should be the roadmap for you to get the certification, I would say if somebody's starting new in cloud technology, start with the associate level certification, which is this one. And your next goal should be going towards the professional certification. So this is number one. Number two, and once you have this certification, if you've been working in the field for around a year or two, so year to 2 years, then you can jump onto SysOps certification. And after that, you can get DevOps certification. That's it. So you don't need to get the developer level certification. This is totally different track, so this certification, so this is the way I recommend going for the certification. Then there are some specialty certifications as well. So there is a question, what will you be sharing the recording? Yes, this video is being recorded and you will be provided the recording as well. Ashish asked a question, is that what the programming required for SysOps? Actually, SysOps, so there is this developer certification where you do need hardcore programming, whereas SysOps is not. I mean, SysOps is it uses. You can say not a hardcore programming, but human understandable programming, Python, JSON scripts, and all. So this is understandable. The people who are working as an architect or a cloud admin, this is a good transition to become a DevOps expert. So nowadays,
or
yes.
is it more only Python, or more languages are required?
No, nothing. So
Just
C
Python?
sharp, if you meant by C sharp and .NET languages, no, that is not required for SysOps and
Okay.
DevOps.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Then there are other specialty certification. After once you're done with associate level certification, then you can go for professional level certification. And here, then you can become an expert of any of these certification: machine learning, data analytics, databases, security, or advanced networking. So for now, if you start from associate level, that's a good way to start with cloud technology. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can unmute your mic and ask a question. So from time to time, I would give you, chance to ask a question, or you can always type your question within the chat window. Okay. And there is another question from Neha. How is the market of AWS and GCP solutions architect? I would say for now, most of the jobs are within Azure and AWS. But GCP market is really picking up. You won't see you won't see any jobs in GCP as individual jobs. GCP, if you have a GCP certification, then in combination with Azure and AWS, that's a good asset. But in coming years, you will see more and more jobs in GCP as well. Okay, so another question, how about Java for SysOps? Yes, Java is basically JSON script. So if you have any Java background, then it will help. But starting with SysOps and the automation, it's not very difficult. And you don't have to be a hardcore programmer, but you still go through some programming in SysOps. This is why this track is different. This is more about automation of all of the infrastructure services within this.
So this AWS Solution Architect is equal to Azure System Admin Associate?
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
this is equal to AZ104 in Microsoft Azure. So the previous training that we completed, so this is on that level.
Adnan, I have one question.
Yes, please go ahead.
When I see the job description and when I talk to the recruiter, they said you have to know the container Dockers.
Yes.
Is it a mandatory for it? Because I see all the jobs, they are container, they're saying Dockers.
Yes. So containers is all, I mean, in-depth container is right here within DevOps. So DevOps and SysOps, this is all about containerizing the applications and all. Most of the time, and next market, I mean, once you're in the solutions are started working as a cloud architect, I would say your next goal is to understand or get into the DevOps market. So this is where it is required. But I would say there is still a requirement for cloud, just the cloud admin jobs. But when you get to a cloud architect level, it is there where they require the DevOps as well.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so let's see if there is another question. Otherwise, we can go for a quick break here. So is there any track that leads to the data scientist track? So the data scientist is part of right here. So data scientists are more towards DBAs, database administrators. There is a certification in Azure as well. In AWS, this is AWS certified database or AWS certified data analytics. So that is that track. But again, for all of these specialties and for DevOps, the first requirement is either one of these certifications. So you must be either associate level understanding. So certification is not a requirement, but you must understand all of the cloud services in order to start with all these other services. Okay. And Nadeem asked a question, what is the market share among AWS, Azure, and GCP? So, so market share among, according to Gartner report from 2019, and I will share that it's within the slide as well. AWS is still at the top within the market, AWS, and second is second is Azure, and GCP. GCP is way below in the market, but it's really catching up because of containers, because of applications, because Google already, Google was in the application market. I mean, with their application services, with their Gmail service, with their email services, with their online documentation applications. So they were already in that market. Because of that, Google is really catching up. Now, why am I saying Google is catching up as compared to any other cloud provider? So right at the top, we have AWS at the moment, because AWS started early in the cloud market, and then Azure. Many companies moved into Azure cloud as well, and AWS, and GCP is really catching up as compared to all other cloud providers. So there were, I mean, before GCP, Google Cloud Platform started in like 3-4 years or 5 years back, whereas IBM Cloud was already there, HP Cloud was already there. There are many other cloud, but this Google Cloud, because they have a huge user base on the application side. Should do, they have the question, should we do security? Should we do security or big data specialists? You're suggesting that existing DBA should do data scientist. Yeah, you can, I mean, both of the environments are there. You can, security is, if you become a security specialist, so first of all, first step is to understand the cloud technology, then sky's the limit. You can go into on database side, you can go onto the security side as well, but whichever side you want to go on, or go on to the big data analytics, which involves the data warehousing, data that involves the transformation of data, migration of data, but all of them starts from the understanding of cloud services. Yes, but then you can become a specialist of any of these different technologies. So guys, let's take a 10 minutes break here. And right after the break, we will continue our presentation. And then we will start with understanding the other cloud services. So this is a 10 minutes break. Right after the break, we will continue. Hello, everyone. Welcome back after the break. I hope everyone is back from the break. So just before this quick short break, we were understanding the certification path, and we also went through a quick introduction for this training. So a quick summary of everything what we have discussed. So this training is AWS certification training. We'll start from really basic, and then we will pave our way inside towards understanding the advanced concepts as well. So this training, anyone can understand the cloud technology, provided and honest efforts are provided towards the training. The concepts are not very difficult. We will try to make them as simple as possible. As simple as possible. Once you understand the concept, and once you go through the lab once, that gives you that confidence, that experience working with the cloud service. Now, a little bit more about the certification. So we have a cloud practitioner level certification in AWS. We also have associate level certification, professional and specialty. So cloud practitioner and associate share the same knowledge pool, and associate goes in more depth. So this is not required. Most of the, I would say this is not required. Anyone who wants to start with cloud can directly go with the associate exam, which is this one. And then the next level is professional, AWS professional certification, which gives you more in-depth requirement and working with the architecture. And then you can also move on to specialty level certification, which includes network specialist, security specialist, and database specialist. But most of the services will be covered right here. So if you become a AWS professional, that is the main goal. And after that, you can switch to DevOps or SysOps certification. So now, especially in this training, in order to understand the technology, in order to understand the cloud technology, what I am trying to do is I will give you a scenario. We'll be working on this company with their issues, with their current issues, and will try to solve this company's issue within the cloud with cloud services. So that will give you a better view of the technology. This will give you a real understanding that how is it looking like in the physical data center, and how can we fix it using the cloud technology, and why hundreds and hundreds of companies have moved into cloud technology. I mean, this is not, we all know, and you can look at the internet statistics as well. I mean, based on my experience working with many different organizations in Canada, in US, in Middle East, in Australia, I've seen that, wherever you go, Azure is there. Wherever you go, cloud is there. Companies have already moved into cloud. So companies have already seen the benefits. But here in this training, I will share with you a full scenario of a real organization. So the organization that we will be working on, is called Prestar Cleaning Staff Provider. And this is, so the main function of this organization is they provide cleaning staff provider. They are global with their HQ in New York. They have around 100 staff members. They have around 100 staff members, and they have applications. They have different departments within this organization, as call center, IT department, marketing department, legal and accounts department. They have 100 remote workers across US, Canada, and global. So it's a big organization, and major offices in London, New York, and Toronto area. Okay, just a second here. Okay, that's fine. So just a second here. Okay, so while my PowerPoint is starting up, and it is again.
Nice house.
Yeah, so yeah, this was a nice picture. You know, so especially Sydney, Australia is famous of its skyline. So I got this view from outside. Okay, hold on. Where's this training? Sorry about that. Just glitch here, and I'm gonna start with this. Okay. So the scenario we are building is first we'll understand this company, and we're right back in business. Okay. Yes. So this company has 100 staff members. They have different type of departments within this organization here as well, and they have 100 remote workers and major offices in different areas. They have a small on-premises data center in Toronto area and badly implemented AWS trial in Canada. Badly implemented meaning somebody tried to I mean so when companies move into cloud, it requires planning, it requires proper designing and planning. And if you go into cloud without planning, without proper understanding and analysis of real physical data center, it can turn out to be really messy within the cloud. And not only messy, it will be charged. The cloud technology use of resources are charged as per use. So for this company, for this company, it's a small on-premises data center in Toronto. We have so it's badly implemented AWS. They have already have AWS services within cloud for this organization. A few isolated Azure and GCP pilots as well. So there are some few projects are going on in this company in regards to moving into Azure and GCP as well. Global offices and mobile staff utilize Toronto infrastructure. So the current problem this company is facing, why are we going through this scenario? This will give us a very good understanding of cloud environment. Now, for the people who are really new to IT environment, so here I just wanted to mention one thing, that cloud, and so there are more slides. I'm going to go into cloud introduction as well. And all of the students who have already been through Azure training, please bear with me on this. I know this is a basic understanding for all of you here as well, but it's a good review for you in terms of understanding the basic concepts. So when we talk about a company moving into cloud, why companies would move into cloud? Now the reason is, and before I will continue with this scenario, so let's say we have company A. So we have company one. We have company one that has their own data center. So that manage their own data center. Now, what is in the data center? Data center has their services inside. So data center is basically a collection of servers. Data center So data center is basically a collection of servers, networking. So data center is a collection of servers. All the servers are connected, and then in order to connect these servers, a data center has they have their own networks as well. In order to run this servers and network, they need to have proper cooling system within the data center. And we know that in these data centers there is a significant amount of heat due to the use of all these machinery inside. So proper cooling system is required. Redundant power is required within the data center. Other than that, there is a maintenance cost as well. So many organizations, many companies, before moving into cloud, they either have their own data center or they're hosting within large big data centers. And there is a huge maintenance cost in hosting their servers and services within these data centers. So the first question is, why do a company need a data center? Why do a company need a server? Because this company is running an application that requires to be hosted on different servers. So their apps are hosted in these servers. And the example is, example are many e-commerce website like KGG in Canada. There is OLX website, there is Amazon website, eBay website. They are all websites that we use, but they are hosted in these types of data centers. In order to maintain these data centers, there is a significant cost. I mean, I can give you a rough estimate. In order to maintain a data center of about 200 servers, or let's say 2 to 300 or 400 servers, and this is not a huge big data center. Huge big data centers have thousands and thousands of servers, and I'll show you in the other slides that how big is the Amazon data center. In order to run this 200 to 400 server data center, their monthly cost goes up to around million, you can say around $500,000, $500,000, 300,000 to 400 or 500,000 per month in order to maintain these data centers of 200 to 400 servers. So not only that, there is requirement of, you need to have a proper staff that know how to manage these data centers. So long time back, around 10 years back, when they introduced the cloud technology, and Amazon was the pioneer introducing this technology. So what they said, that instead of having these physical data centers for all these companies, basically Amazon built their own data center for their own services. So Amazon was in the market. Amazon, we all know, it's a huge e-commerce website. So it's a huge e-commerce website, so you can buy and sell stuff. So they invented the cloud technology for their own purpose. They started with something called SQS service. Simple Queue service was the first cloud service they introduced for themselves. And the main purpose of this service was, and this was back in 2003, the first time when they launched this service. And the main purpose of this service was to, since it is a simple queue service. So it was just a queue, an automatic queue of services where they would receive all of the orders, and this queue will automatically receive all of the orders, and then one by one it can process all of the different orders. So this was mainly for their e-commerce website. Then that led to to move towards virtualization was already there, and then they added virtualization to their cloud services. So virtualization meaning, instead of having physical servers, instead of having 100 physical servers, they went for fewer physical servers, like 10 physical servers with their virtual machines inside. So virtual machines inside, that is what virtual environment is. So what are we trying to understand? We are trying to understand what is the need of cloud technology. The need of a cloud technology is that so cloud is nothing but a huge big data centers. For all of the new people who are in this training and trying to understand the cloud technology, you can think of a cloud as a huge big data center, a huge big computer. So what is in the computer? What are the components in a computer? A computer is made up of basically these components. So your laptop, the laptop that you're working on, has a CPU inside, has a storage inside, a disk where you store anything, and it has a memory inside. So we all know that laptops are all made up of this. So data center is also made up of all the same things. Servers make up the CPU of the data center. So servers are like CPU in a data center. The networking is basically the network that connects to the data center. And here in a laptop, you also have Wi-Fi with which you are connected to this training. So Wi-Fi makes up the network part, and the storage is basically the disk of your data center. And this physical data center owned by these big companies, which is AWS, is referred to as a cloud. So they call this a cloud. And since they have huge big data centers, they are maintaining the cooling system, the power, the security and maintenance of this data center. So companies like this Prestar company, or companies like ABC company, companies like, and huge big companies like Rogers, huge big companies like Bell, which is a national telecom carrier in Canada, and huge big telecom companies throughout the world are moving into AWS data center. Why they are moving into AWS data centers? Because these data centers are well maintained. Number one, these data centers, they just need, and plus the biggest advantage is moving into these data centers, they don't have to pay anything upfront, anything at all. And where, I mean, on this side, when you have to build a data center, you'll have to set aside millions of dollars in order to create a data center, or let's say a very small data center for a very small organization. You still have to spend like 20,000 or 40,000 in revenue in making a small data center with, let's say, 5 or 10 servers. But when you move into cloud, when these companies move into cloud, it's all pay as you go to start with. And I will share with you the pricing model. So first of all, no upfront cost in cloud. So no upfront cost in cloud. And any company can start with their services. And nowadays, many startup companies are all based in cloud. So biggest example is Netflix is all in AWS. And there are many other companies that are already moved into cloud. So first of all, no upfront cost for these companies. They just need to move their load inside. And let's say if this company is using 2 servers, they just pay for 2 servers and their use. As long as the server is on, they will be charged. If the server is off, they won't be charged. Yes, there are some services that are immediately charged, and like premium storage or some premium services, but those are not, but those for those services, a company agree to go for these services in order to get high availability and those advanced features. But the biggest advantage is that AWS has huge big data centers and they maintain these data centers. And so no upfront cost, number one. Then there is auto scaling option and many, many other features that our companies are enjoying in cloud. So the problems that we will be fixing in this training for this company, Prestar company, number one, they have legacy operating system on-premises hardware. Guys, whenever you hear the word on premises, this refers to a physical data center. So it's saying in their physical data center, they have legacy hardware is failing. So which means that it's time now for this company to upgrade their hardware. Now, if they need to upgrade their hardware, so if they need to upgrade their hardware, then definitely there is a cost involved in this. So they will have to decide either they have to buy new hardware or they would move to a cloud environment with no upfront cost. And then there is high availability options, and these cloud providers are providing full guarantee. And you will see once we are in the storage chapter, you will see that how secure, reliable, and fast the storage is within the cloud as compared to physical data center. So the first problem that we need to solve in Prestar cleaning is that legacy on-premises data hardware is failing, number one. Number two, there are AWS and Azure pilot projects are messy. So somebody started the project but they were not properly designed, and these companies are charged like crazy when using those services. So your job will be to provide and to optimize this cloud environment by using cloud services, and also so that should help them first of all have a proper design of all cloud services. At the same time, also reduce cost in using those services. So Nadeem is asking a question: if it is just a big data center, then why the term cloud is used for that kind of service? It's a very good question. So this is a huge big data center, and I think they refer to it as a cloud because you will be connecting it through the internet. So you won't have that physical data center. You won't have access to that physical data center, and you won't be ever going into that data center. You will be accessing all their services from your company to their data center. So since you will be connecting over the internet, so I mean they came up with this term cloud within this. So, and there is no other technical reason. No other resemblance as a real cloud and this data center. I would think that because you are connecting over the internet, you won't. So that's a big difference. If you're hosting your servers within Toronto area, within New York area, there are big data centers as well. So most of the time you're responsible for your own servers, meaning you will have to visit the data center and then work on your own server. Work on your own servers. So you have access to the data center. In this case, you don't have access to the data center. Data center is totally a responsibility of AWS or Microsoft Azure and the complete infrastructure. You're only responsible for your services. And so there are different cloud models that I will be sharing with you shortly. So here, the third problem with this company is performance issues. The software is slow for the field workers. When they access the software, it's slow. And the lack of high availability, scalability, hardware is expensive. That's another issue with the company. And staff skills and they struggle with their understanding, their applications, and global expense concern cost of new infrastructure. So these are the things that we will try to solve during this training, understanding applying all of the best practices within AWS. So ideal outcome of this project, ideal outcome of this complete project that we will be doing during this training is fast response to all the field workers. Number two, able to deploy into new region quickly. So there are regions I will be sharing with you. So we'll be going through that as well. What is a region what is availability zone? What is availability? And then what are the data centers? What are the servers? How the servers are configured within these data centers? And we should be able to reduce cost and make it more scalable and on the base infrastructure. And we will apply some automation techniques as well when deploying this cloud technology. Okay. So, so this is the scenario that we will be going through, and my understanding is with the scenario-based training, you will be able to capture more. You will be able to understand more technology as when it is compared to just a training with all of the concepts and labs. So now that we know that we are working on this company and we need to solve all these problems, understanding the cloud services. So we will be working on the virtual machines, understanding how virtual machine can solve the problem. We'll be working on the storage, introducing the storage, configuring the storage. And yes, so Ajmal asked the right question, how to solve these issues. So in order to solve the issues, we need to first understand the services. And as we understand the service, then you will be able to basically place the right services in the right places so that they can work and solve the problem of costing. In cloud, it is said that if you don't control the use of resources, then it can become very, very expensive. It can become more expensive than the physical environment. So the main reason why company one is moving into cloud, the first main reason is that to reduce cost. So that's their first main reason. The cost should be reduced at least by 50%, or at least by 70% to start with. So cost needs to be reduced. This is why companies spend on going into the clouds. And this is what all these companies promise when moving into cloud. So yes, so Ajmal is mentioning that word capex against opex, which is operational expenses. I mean, cost, the upfront cost against the operational cost. So, so yes, so first thing is reduce cost. But what happens is when we say a cloud, the cloud design is messy. What happens is when companies start using resources in the cloud, the resources most of the time goes out of control. So how can resources become out of control in a cloud? So let's say your company started with two virtual machines or three servers. So they wanted to have only three servers and they are paying for only three servers within the cloud. Then what happens is as soon as there are more departments involved, let's say now you have IT department, what are we trying to understand? We're trying to understand why is there a need of controlling the cost in cloud. So controlling the cost in cloud is you have different departments, and I'm sharing with you from my recent experience with the client. So so in that client so just like all of the other companies, there are different departments: IT department, there is finance department, there is marketing department. And these all departments have their different applications. So these all departments have their different applications. Okay. Okay. So I think the screen is being shared. I'm not sure that why is this, somebody has access to the screen. Okay. So let me see if somebody can host. Okay. So annotation, I'm just here. Okay, so we're good. So right here, yeah, I think so that means that you guys can also write on the screen if you like, but let me remove. So just let me know before writing on the screen. So here, so what are we trying to do to control the cost? So what happens in that organization, IT department IT department started working on these servers. And then finance department were given access to, given access to some of the servers within the cloud technology. And with time, they started building their own servers, their test servers within the environment. So the finance department built like in 3 months, 3 more servers within this for test and dev environment. And with time, they and other departments also started building servers. And as we know that in cloud technologies, everything is pay as you go. So if you have 6 servers now, then you'll have to pay for the 6 servers. So these departments, what they did with time, that they made these test servers, but never removed these servers. So never removed these servers. And at the end of so the charges are monthly or yearly basis. So when the bill came, the bill was a huge, big, fat bill. It was a huge bill for all of these resources that were made for the test environment, but they were not removed. So that included servers, storage, different app services, serverless service functions, and all that. And that increased the cost. Instead of decreasing the cost, there was a huge increase in the cost. So this is where we need to make sure that the cost stays within the budget that we are forecasting for the 1 year. And this is what this will be one of your responsibility. So the question from Abdul is, according to this pre-star scenario, how long we need to fix this problem? And after fixing the problem, what will be your job status? So yes, it's a good question. So first of all, in order to fix this type of issue where you have anywhere from 100 to 200 servers, this will take around, in order to fix that problem. It's not a it's not a simple problem to solve. So you know the problem and you know the solution, you can implement it. No, this requires analysis of the current infrastructure. Based on the analysis, you will provide your suggestions. Based on the suggestions, there will be technical requirement, and then this will be implemented. So this will take anywhere from 4 to 6 months in order to fix this and come up with a design. But once the problems are fixed, then definitely you will be their first choice. In order for you to, you will be their first choice as a cloud admin, because you know the environment and you know the services. So I think this will be a better, this will be good for your job security in terms of being a cloud admin. But then there are two different roles within the cloud. You can get in as a contractor. So your contract was just to fix the issues. Then at the end of this, the contract will end. Most of the time, these contracts are extended because it's not only you need to solve the issues, but at the same time, you need to now maintain this as well. So most of the time I've seen these cloud technologies, these cloud contracts goes from 6 months to 12 months, and they are extended again and again. Because there is a value, because when you start working in cloud, it's not that easy to understand. It's for everyone to understand all cloud scenarios. So there is that part of complexity. So the people who are expert in a certain cloud service within a company, those are preferred always in managing that cloud, because you already know the environment. Okay, so a little bit about the training, everyone. So I would say, I would request everyone to be on time in this training. So we start at 6:30 and this will end by 10:30, 4 hours of training, in which we will go through the concepts, and I will try to go through the labs as well within the training. Yes, so in the beginning, you will have to understand the concept. The understanding of concept is important. So for that purpose, and the first 10 to 15 minutes, we review the previous lesson. So we review the previous lesson, and so do not miss any lecture, because each lecture is like one chapter, number one. Take notes as much as possible, guys. Take notes as much as possible. So when you take notes, basically that makes our memory more stronger in relation to this topic. So I would say I would remind everyone in every lecture that you need to take notes and share the notes with me. Now, why is that? Why do I need to see your notes? Because the thing is, this is an online training, and at the end of the training, we need to get out with a strong hands-on or strong understanding. Without taking notes, it is very easy for us to get distracted, number one. Number two, when you're taking notes, then there will be more questions from your side as well if you're taking notes. So I would suggest everyone to take as much notes as possible in order to understand. We'll be going through many important services, and we need to have a very good understanding of the concepts. Secondly, be ready for surprise quizzes. The lab must be completed. Screenshots must be taken within each lecture. So today we will be creating an account. So what is the time now? The time is, okay, 8. So we still have 9. We still have 1.5 hours. So we will be creating our account shortly within AWS. So not for this, but for all of the other labs, you must take screenshots and make a document. Which means screenshots, meaning that for each lab, when you're making a lab, when you're going through a lab, you will be provided with all of the instructions, but I want you to take the screenshots and make a document of each lab. Mid of the training, there will be exam preparation. Actually, we will be sharing with you all of the exam practice questions right from the beginning. I think Amin Bhai is our course coordinators. He will be as part of the training as well, and he will be sharing with you the latest exam practice questions. Start preparing for this exam as soon as possible. Take the exam within 2 weeks of the course completion. So that is very, very important because your knowledge is fresh and you can go for the exam. Okay. So one thing that I wanted to clear here, that most of the time we take this training as similar to the academic training. So in academic training, what happens is that we follow a course pattern. We follow a course pattern. So we go through a specific course pattern in which there is chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and then after that the exam will be taken from the same book. Okay, and most of the time in academic training it is exactly the same thing. You will, if you're very good in understanding all the chapter, all of the concepts, and are very good, that should be enough for the exam. But guys, in IT training this is not the case. In IT training this is not the case. So let me show you the exam requirements for this training here. So here I am going to go to AWS certification path. So if I go to this exam, and the exam that I'm going to go to is right here, and you can see in the requirement. So here I am going to go to down here, and this is associate level exam. And within the associate level exam, if I go to here, it says recommended knowledge and experience. It's saying hands-on experience using compute, networking, storage, database. We will go through all this in detail, and the labs as well. Hands-on experience with AWS, and so an understanding of basic architecture principle, understanding of AWS global infrastructure. So everything we will go through here. And also it's here it is mentioned somewhere that you need at least 1 year of hands-on experience. It's right here. So AWS associate exam is intended for individuals who perform a solution architect role and have 1 or more years of hands-on experience in designing available cost efficient. So in order to go for this certification, somebody has to have that experience prior to going for this exam, 1 to 2 years of experience. Okay, so this is their requirement. Why they are saying that they need this type of experience, because within the exam, within this certification exam, they will throw scenario based questions. So within the certification exam, they will throw in the real world experience as well. This is why they're saying 1 year of experience. But most of the time, how can you start getting experience without getting into the market? And how can you get into the market if you're not certified? It's that type of situation. So the point I want to make here is that please do not take this exam as any academic or the normal exams, the university or college level exams that we take, and take these exams as technical exams. So this is why, in order to prepare for these exams, you cannot completely rely on any training at all. So even if you're getting a training from Microsoft, even I will go into depth of the concept, the main real concept that we need to go through, the concept that you will be facing in real environment. I'll go through all of the concepts and we'll go through all of the labs, but these labs and concepts are not enough to go for the exam. Okay, then your question is, how do you go for an exam? You need to go for an exam of going through practice questions. So the practice questions will give you enough knowledge to go for these exams. It gives you the answer, it gives you the explanation, and most of the time the questions will be from those 300 or 400 questions. Okay. So, and why am I saying this? Because most of the time we get confused. I completed the training and this is not helping me out in going for the exam. yes, it won't, none of the training will are enough for going for the exam. So these technical training involve real life scenarios as well. So for that, you need to go through practice exam. So go through the practice exam, get the certification, and this training will give you the, this training is more focused on hands-on labs so that we can get real experience working with the AWS services. Okay, so this is just, I wanted to make sure that this point is clear. So the class timings for this training will be 6:30 to 10:30. It's an online session, 10 to 8 classes, 8 to 10, sorry, classes. Today is 16th. It's an evening session, 4 hours class. It will be a 4-hour class. We'll try to understand the concepts and then we'll be directly jump onto the lab. Okay, so any questions at all, anyone? So, okay, so you can so chat is open. You can ask questions. You can also unmute your mic and ask a question. Today is kind of an introductory lecture to AWS and cloud technology. So at the end of this lecture, so at the last half hour, we will start with the lab. We will start making an account. So while I go through this, some of you, I mean, for the students that are continuing from Azure, I think this knowledge is, I mean, you already know these next few slides, around 5-6 slides. In the meantime, you can start making an account within AWS. So how do you make an account? It's a logical process. Let me open the link. So whoever wants to start, I mean, this concept is very important for all of the people who are joining new in this training. So I need your attention, but for all of the others who are already who have already been through the Azure training, I would suggest that start making an account in AWS. So in order to make an account in AWS, all of you can go to this link. Okay, Sheikh asked a question. So the class is every day. Okay, so no, the class is not every day. Class is only on Saturday and sorry, it's your Friday. It's Friday and Saturday evening. It's only 2 days. So Saturday and Friday evening. Nadeem asked a question. What is needed to start the lab? So so in terms of machine, you just need your laptop. You don't need any virtualization software. So any laptop can work. And these all the labs will be within the cloud. So you can create an account. So hold on, let me just show you. For some of you, so you can go onto this site. For creating the account, actually, I will provide you step-by-step instructions for creating an AWS account. Though it's really logical. It's a really logical process. You all should be able to create an account. So all you need to do is to say AWS free tier account. AWS free tier account. So once you are here on this website, all you need to do, go directly to AWS free tier account. Okay. So once you are here, all you need to do is to create AWS account. So there are, once you click on create free account, it will ask you for your email address, password, and AWS account name. It's like a username. This is your email address. This will be considered as your root account, and then you will continue. It will take you to the next step, which is enter your credit card information. Don't worry, your credit card won't be charged, but at this stage, your credit card is only used to basically verify your ID. It will also require your cell phone number and it will send you back a code, and that's it. So it is exactly like registration, how you did registration in Azure, in Microsoft Azure cloud. Okay. So in the meantime, while I'm going through these basic slides here, guys, whoever can, please create a AWS account. And if you're stuck anywhere, you can let me know in the chat window. And please let me know in the chat window if you already have a AWS account. So Rabia already has a AWS account. Thank you for letting me know. So everyone else,
Do we have to, Anand, does it matter what region or country do we select, or?
does it ask you to select a region? I think when you create a account, it's a global account. Is it asking for a region?
It is.
Okay, so just go with the default region at the moment. So once the account is created, you can create services in any region, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Brother Adnan, I'm getting this free tier Amazon EC2, S3, Amazon RDS, and different things. 750 hours, 5 GB, and 750 hours, 25 GB. So many things
Okay,
are
hold
there.
on, hold on. Let me look at it. I think last time when I went through, so you're past this screen, right? Okay. Are
I
you
think-
looking at my screen?
No, 1 minute. Let me.
So I'll share this link with you. So right from here, you can just start creating your account directly.
Yeah, put it in the chat box.
Yes, it's right here in the chat box now.
And how do we check if you already have an account? Like,
Yes, I would say the only way to check that if you have an account, you can try to log in, or you can say forget your password and then enter your email address, and it would let you know that if you already have an account, it would let you change the password. That's the only way, I think. But I would say that if you already have an account, maybe that account, you have accumulated some services. I would suggest creating a new account for this training. But if it is recently created, then you can go for it. But if it's not, then maybe that you might not have enough credits to use all the services that we need to use within this training. So I would suggest going for a fresh account. Okay, so Nadeem asked, so Sheikh said that he has an account. Nadeem said that I have an AWS account, but it does not have free tier. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Just start with a fresh new account. And Majbin is saying account type is professional or personal. It will be personal account. It's not a professional
Please
account.
type the numbers you hear.
Okay, and
6 6 6.
So, and you can mute your mic because we can hear your secret numbers.
6.
Okay, very good. But we heard the first three numbers though. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay, so everyone, while our experts are creating their accounts, and if you, by all means, if you have any questions at all, please let me know, and I will be providing you step-by-step instructions in this lab as well. So for everyone else, we will. So just trying to make use of the time for everyone who already are able to understand, went through all these slides before. Okay. So in order to become an AWS expert, we need to have that basic understanding of cloud technology. So first of all, we need to see what is a cloud technology. Why do we need a cloud technology? So cloud technology is basically, so understanding cloud technology is basically provides a benefit. So account type, okay. Okay, so cloud technology provides a lot of benefit over a physical data center. So let's say you're developing an application and something like Instagram. So we are trying to understand why do we need a cloud technology. So we are developing a new application like Instagram. Okay, and now that this application is ready on your computer, the next step is to make this available on the internet so that people can browse to this website. So now if people need to browse this application, then you will have to buy a server on which you will upload this application. And then next you will ensure that the application is always available. So, so you have that application, then you need to have this accessible over the internet. So there will be users connecting to this application over internet. So over internet, there are people who need to access this application. For that, you need to buy a new server. For that, you need to buy a new server, and that server will be hosting this application. From there, this application will be available. And now, when you buy a new server, okay, Sayed is asking a question. How can I delete my old account that created 1 year before? In order to delete any account, Abdul, you need to contact the AWS support. Because there is no way you can delete an account, because you won't be able to log in because it's expired. And inactive accounts, they make it so they disable those accounts, so you won't be able to log in. But if you are able to log in, then from inside you can delete the account going into my account and settings.
I have to log in, so yeah, I think I can do it from the inside, right? Okay.
Okay. Okay. So if you're logged in and you're inside, you can go to my account. You can deactivate your account right from there. But then in order to create a new account, you need a new email address. You can use your existing credit card, but you need a new email address.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So Sayed is signed in, and so looks like we might not be able to do the labs today. Sayed is saying it will take 24 hours to fully activate if you are unable to access AWS service after this time. Here are a few things. What? No, this is not the case. Once you create the account, you will be able to use any services though, but before using the service, you still need to understand the service, right?
Yeah, no, of course. So Brother Adnan, I was trying to do this, and when I clicked on console, it's giving me that alert, like that alert that I just showed you. And now it's telling me like, make sure you provide all necessary information and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So I think I have to wait before they activate my account, I believe. But you can continue. Sorry to disturb you, but you can continue. I'm trying to figure it out.
You can let me know at the end. Okay. And so right here, Atif is saying he has the account and all. Okay. So I'll come back to your technical questions here, guys. Let me quickly go through this cloud computing. Why do we need AWS? So we're taking an example of Instagram application that is hosted on the server. So in order to host this application, you need to buy a server. And then, of course, when you buy a server, it will be you'll have to pay some. You'll have to pay. You'll have to buy a new server, and that server will be anywhere from let's say 4K to 10K. So these servers are expensive. When you buy these servers for these applications, this is one server. Then you need to connect it to the internet, and then users will be able to connect to this server. So this is your application starts working. Okay, if your application is so what are we trying to understand, everyone? We're trying to understand why cloud computing. So this is one server. Few users are using this application. What if now your website becomes very, very famous and now you need to expand your environment? So when you need to expand this environment, then you obviously need to add more servers to this. So when you add more servers, so then it means that there will be the cost of this application will increase. That will require full-fledged professional data center. Not only that, once your users are increasing, they are using the applications, your infrastructure is increasing as well with time, and then so maintaining this infrastructure is an extra cost that is on top of buying this infrastructure. So first is the capital cost. So capital cost of this infrastructure, number one. Number two, ongoing maintenance cost. Ongoing maintenance cost for this infrastructure. And number three is, let's say if you're expecting a very high volume at a certain time of the year, then what would you do? So let's say from this is an Instagram application. Instagram is, we all know, it's a social media application. But what if you're maintaining an ebay.com type of application that has more user frequency, that has more users engagement in the holiday season. So in holiday season, people use ebay.com, amazon.com more than normal. So during those, let's say Black Friday or maybe the Christmas holidays, those 10-15 days, you will be having more load. So
Brother Adnan,
yes,
sorry to
please go ahead.
interrupt you.
Yes, please go ahead.
I'm charged $1.35 on Amazon Web Services.
Right from the start.
Yeah, they charge me $1.35.
Verify your
Yeah,
credit card.
that is correct. They did mention when you're signing up that they will charge $1 US. So $1 US is $1.35 Canadian. So they did that to my account also.
Okay.
Oh my.
But if you want to get
It's worth
that
it, man. It's worth
$1
it, don't worry.
back, okay, if you want to get that $1 back, you can just send them email saying that I'm not using it professionally and I'm using it for the test and dev purposes. They will return it back to you.
Okay.
It is refundable, guys.
Yes. So I think that is basically just to make sure it's a legit card and it's your card and stuff like that. You can get it back if you want to send them email. Okay. So here, so first of all, in physical data center, there is capital cost, then ongoing cost, then there are servers, and then there is those emergency times when you need more services. If there are more services required in emergency times, then you will have to add more resources. Let's say within the holiday season, you're expecting more than normal, then you will add these 4 servers. So what will be the cost of adding 4 servers, like 20K? Okay, what will happen after 15 days? Can you remove these servers? No. So these servers will be there and the capital is spent, the money spent, and now you have more servers to maintain. So because of all of these different reasons, guys, I'm seeing your questions and I'll come back to your questions in a moment. Let me complete this concept first. So because of all these constraints in physical data centers, this cloud technology became very, very famous, where they started with their flagship what do you call, a marketing strategy, no upfront cost. You don't have to pay anything, although Shakil was charged, I think Shakil was charged $1, but you can get that refund back. But other than that, there is no upfront cost when you create a new infrastructure. There will be charges. So basically you don't have to pay anything in capital, but there are different ways where you can get discounts if you get their services. If you pay in advance for 3 years, if you pay in advance for 3 years for the use of services, you get 50% discount. So that's another pricing tier that you can go for in cloud technology. So this led to the invention of cloud computing, and cloud computing is not old. It is kind of a proven architecture, and many companies, 500 Fortune companies are moved into cloud, and I would say 50% of the world is already moved into the cloud, and rest of the 30% will move shortly. There will be that 10 to 20% will still remain in physical data center. There is a requirement for physical data center because there are some equipment that requires infrastructure servers. So not 100%. You cannot move 100% in large organization. There is always that 80 and 20%, 20% on premises, 80% in cloud. So in cloud, what are the advantages in cloud? So who are the cloud providers at the moment? The cloud providers are Microsoft Azure is a big cloud provider. Then there is Google Cloud Platform is another cloud provider. Then there is AWS. Okay, why did I miss AWS? AWS is a huge big cloud provider. It's right here. And other than that, there is VMware has their own cloud. Oracle has their own cloud, which is known as OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Then there is IBM Cloud, Salesforce, and Adobe. They have their own cloud, Red Hat their own cloud. But the main cloud providers are Microsoft, AWS, and Google Cloud provider, Google Cloud Platform at the moment. Why AWS is reliable? AWS is reliable because it is scalable, it is adoptable, that it is cost effective, it is secure, reliable, and you can have a lot of new services all the time in order to make a smooth transition from physical data center to a cloud data center. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, before I move on, let me have a quick look at the questions here. So the question is, Atif is saying that he's in the cloud, he's logged in, and so Atif has a AWS account. Sheikh has, it's usually takes some time for verification, okay. So last one was 1 year. Okay, Atif's account was last one, and okay. Majbeen asked the question: what should I be given for the role I am interested in? So I don't remember this question. If you can share this in the WhatsApp group, I'll have a more insight. I'll be able to reply to this question. Atif mentioned academic and learning certification and certification. Okay, okay. So you replied to Majbeen about that. I'm interested in. Okay, good. And so then the next question, that will be refunded. Okay, so that was answered. And Nadeem asked the question, send email to AWS in order to get your $1 back. Okay, so that's fine. Yes, so that happens. And Atif said won't be charged if selecting learning and certification. Yes. Ashish said, can I be added to the WhatsApp group? Yes. So right at the end of this training, I mean, once you are interested, once you share your email address with Amin Bhai, he will be able to add you to the WhatsApp group, and you will have access to all of the resources. So yes, you will be, Ashish, you will be added to the group at the end of this training. Just leave a message on the other group that we have that you add yourself to that 3-in-1 cloud training. Sayed Ijaz is saying that I had an old account which I am able to access. Okay, so that's fine. If you're able to access your old account, it is fine. But check your account and see that how much balance is there. So normally they will every month they will renew the balance. I think it was 740 hours of use, and different type of services has different type of balance. So for that reason, I was suggesting that create a new account. That will be excellent. But if it is recently created, then you don't need to. Okay. So guys, in cloud, so we are trying to understand now that we know the importance of a cloud technology. So there are 3 different cloud deployment models, and most of the people sitting here already know this type of cloud models. And So there are three different type of cloud models. There is something called public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. These are very, very simple concept to understand. So first one is public cloud. Public cloud refers to the cloud of Microsoft Azure. So Azure's cloud is public cloud. AWS cloud is a public cloud. GCP is a public cloud, and IBM has a public cloud. So public cloud is the data centers that are available to host other companies. So data centers, so company one can host their server, company two can host their server, company three can host their server inside this data center. And this is where once more, many companies host their server, that cloud or that data center is known as a public cloud. So public cloud providers are these. And what is a private cloud? Private cloud is many organizations would like cloud services, but they don't want to move to AWS or Azure or GCP. So mostly sensitive organizations, mostly sensitive government organizations, where they have some sensitive applications, and they don't want to move those applications or servers into public cloud. So instead, what they do is they will buy their cloud services and host them in their own data center. So that will be known as private cloud. So all the cloud services, when installed in companies' own data center. So this government, let's say the government has their own data center, and government has huge big data centers as well. So they will install all the cloud services within their own data center. That will be referred to as private cloud. Now in private cloud, they will enjoy all of the cloud features. They will enjoy working with virtual machines, auto scaling, load balancing, security, and everything, all the benefits of the cloud, but within the organization. So that is referred to as public cloud. So now your question might be, which application is referred to a private cloud? So we know that now Azure is a public cloud, AWS is a public cloud, GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform, is a public cloud. But what is referred to as a private cloud? So private cloud, you can remember the name Azure Stack. Azure Stack is an example of a private cloud. So Azure Stack is still a service from Microsoft, but the company doesn't have to move their services outside their organization. They will keep them inside. So for example, many of the Middle Eastern countries, or many of the sensitive security related government organization, they will never want to move into any other cloud because they have sensitive information. And same like in Middle East, many of the companies, they don't want to take, it's not allowed from the government to take the data out of Middle East. You can host the data anywhere in the Middle East, but you cannot take it to Europe. You cannot take it to any part of the world. So this is their government regulations. So in that, they use private cloud. So public cloud is when you host the services in Azure, AWS, GCP. Private cloud is that you have cloud services in your own premises or own data center. So this is, and then the third concept is hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is really easy to understand. What is that concept? When you connect private cloud to a public cloud in any way, so you connect them together so that these servers can interact with the public cloud. And okay, so now you would say that, you know, it was a sensitive information. Why is it connecting to a public cloud? So so this is just one example I gave you, that there are some sensitive application. They don't want to move it out of the organization. But other than that, there might be other scenarios as well, where they want to keep some services inside the organization to have better speed, or maybe for many other reasons why they would like to have a private cloud. But when we connect a private cloud to a public cloud, that is known as hybrid cloud. So when two clouds are connected, this will be known as hybrid cloud. Ajmal asked the question, how come the private cloud becomes scalable if they have limited resources? Yes. So Ajmal, so Ajmal's question is, I mean, it is an important question. I mean, main reason why companies move into public cloud because they have unlimited resources. So Azure data centers, if I can show you Azure data center right here, let's look at the AWS data center first. So AWS data centers, or Azure data center. So you can see that these data centers are huge. So this is a huge data center right here, and they have not hundreds of servers, thousands and thousands of servers throughout the world. So they have huge, big data centers. So Ajmal's question is, and here this is an example of another data center owned by, this is AWS campus in Dublin, which gets government approval. So this is, you can see that how huge this data center is. So Ajmal's question is that how come the private cloud becomes scalable if if they have limited resources? So to answer this question, when we create a private cloud infrastructure within an organization, we will make sure that this is scalable. This is all scalable. I mean, the only difference between a private cloud and a public cloud is that this cloud is sitting inside the organization with all the cloud services. I mean, there is no limit on use of resources. Probably when you install a private cloud, this will be like a scalable, a huge big infrastructure as well. So when you buy Azure Stack is basically one rack. In one rack, you have everything. So you have multiple racks of that. So there is no question about limited resources. There is no limit on private cloud resources. You can still have huge number of resources. The only difference is that resources exist within your data center. Now your question might be that how many companies prefer private cloud? I would say most of the companies would prefer public cloud. Because the main benefit lies in the use of resources within public cloud, because this is maintained by Microsoft. I mean, you enjoy the feature of cloud being managed by Microsoft. I mean, it's exactly like you have a driver who's driving your car. I mean, you can drive if you have to drive 1 hour every day, it's a hassle. But if you get a driver who can drive you 1 hour, so that is more convenient. So public cloud is like somebody's driving it for you, whereas in private cloud, you still have to drive it on your own. You get the benefits of a luxury car, but you still have to drive it. So companies would prefer public cloud. They will only go for private cloud if there is a necessity, if there is a need for this.
Brother Adnan, we're
Yes,
talking
please go ahead.
something about Microsoft Cloud and Azure. Isn't it just different totally? Are we mixing up?
Can you repeat your question before I can answer?
In between, you mentioned about Microsoft Cloud, and also here on the slide you have written Azure Stack, but we are talking about AWS. Isn't it separate or different from Microsoft?
Okay, your question is about Azure Stack, right?
No. Here we are talking. We have mentioned in the slide something Azure Stack, and also
Right.
we are talking about Microsoft Cloud. But here in AWS, do we use Microsoft Cloud?
Okay, yes. So I get your question. So the question is that I thought that your question was, since we are in AWS training, why are we talking about Azure Stack here? But your question is different. Your question is it Azure Stack? Is it different from Microsoft Cloud? Yes, it's a bit different from Microsoft Cloud because Azure Stack is a private cloud implementation, and Microsoft Azure Cloud is a public cloud implementation. So the difference I wanted to give you is that when we refer to just an Azure, this refers to a public cloud implementation. But when we refer to as Azure Stack, that is private cloud implementation. So that's the only point I wanted to make with this.
Adnan,
Yes, please go ahead.
who owns these Stack, Azure Stack, the rack? I understand. Who owns the server and
It will be owned
network,
by Microsoft. It's a good question.
Microsoft, everything Microsoft. Okay,
Yes,
got it.
even if company go with this private cloud option. So okay, so let's say this customer, they are interested in cloud technology. So they go to AWS and or Microsoft, then asking for cloud services. So these cloud providers, AWS, Azure, and GCP, they will offer them public cloud and private cloud option. Basically, they will only offer the private cloud, the public cloud option. Private cloud option only comes when they have the need for this. So Azure Stack is their option for a private cloud option. Most of the time, it will be only public cloud implementation.
I think I'm getting a little bit confused with Azure Stack because I was expecting this related to Azure. Everything is Microsoft, but here Azure in AWS we are using. It's just mixing up a little bit.
Oh, okay. Okay, and okay. So Azure Stack, if I remove this Azure Stack from here, if I remove it from here, Shakil, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm not able to understand the question, the confusion.
No, the thing is like when we talk about Azure, we talk about Microsoft Cloud and Azure Stack and everything. But here in AWS, we are using Azure and also we're talking about Microsoft Cloud in AWS.
Yes. Okay. I get it.
I think Brother Adnan is trying to give overall explanation of different clouds. This particular slide is not specific to AWS. It's just a cloud explanation.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, I get the question now. I'm really sorry. Yes. So Shakil, this is just an overall cloud model. I'm not on. We haven't started AWS as a topic. So this is just an overall. So I just wanted to give you an example of private cloud. This is an example of private cloud. You can skip this part if it is making you confused. I know the confusion can be if you're really new to the concept and everything. Since we are in AWS training, why am I mentioning this? This is just an overall concept of cloud technology. So if anyone wants to remember an example of private cloud, let's say you're sitting in an interview and they say, have you ever worked on a private cloud? Do you know any service that is used as a private cloud? So you can say, yes, Azure Stack is an example of private cloud. That's the only thing you need to remember from here. Otherwise, this Azure Stack is exactly the same as Azure. So it has the portal, it has VMs, it has everything. You will get everything that you see in Microsoft Portal in Azure Stack as well. So, and going to that last comment on that question, yes, Azure Stack has nothing to do anything with AWS. So it's not, AWS has its own services.
Okay, I got it now.
Okay.
Because I'm totally, I'm thinking that we are studying AWS. Okay, if you're comparing, I understand. But if I'm inserting that Azure into AWS, I mean, I thought it's something different supposed to be.
Right. No, it's a logical question. It's a logical question. So guys, please, yes, always ask any questions just to clear the confusion. I'm open to any questions. We are in a training and we need to have a very good understanding at the end of this training. Okay. So Majbin asked a question, don't we have an private cloud offering in AWS? Yes, there is. There is a private cloud offering from AWS from a third-party vendor's hybrid cloud option, or HCI. It's called HCI option, and I will go into that in more detail. But yes, AWS has a private cloud option as well. So just like there are 3 cloud models, everyone, public, private, and hybrid. So public is everything that is owned by these cloud providers. Private is when the cloud services are in your cloud. What is the reason? The reason is that they have some sensitive applications, or for any reason they don't want to move into outside the public, their network, so they can enjoy all cloud features within their organization. Now the third thing is there is cloud offering. Now once you decide that your company needs to move into cloud, so this company now have decided that they will move from their physical data center, and they want to move into cloud. So now, in order to make it easy for customers or everyone to blend into the cloud environment, all the cloud providers offer 3 types of packages. So this is called cloud service offering. So IaaS, PaaS, or SaaS, which is IaaS is infrastructure as a service, PaaS is in platform as a service, and SaaS is software as a service. Now, what are these basically? So when you go to an insurance company, they also offer you 3 different type of packages. They offer you full comprehensive insurance, and then third-party insurance, and then maybe some other insurance as well. So those are different packages, exactly in the same manner that AWS, when you go to AWS, that, okay, we want to bring our infrastructure to cloud, then AWS is offering them, so would you like this package, which is infrastructure as a service? Would you like this package? And based on the package, the prices are different. So the cheapest one is IaaS, and the expensive one is SaaS. So now let's see what are the 3 packages are. So when you move into the cloud, first of all, you need to move from on-premises to a cloud option. So it's exactly like that. In on-premises, you are responsible for everything. I mean, when you were in your physical data center, you are responsible for your application, your data, your runtime, your middleware, operating system, virtualization, servers, storage, and everything. So you're responsible for everything. So before even going here, let me try to explain this for all of our new participants here, new students, with a metaphor example. So let's say you're trying to lease an apartment. If you're trying to lease an apartment, you can lease an empty apartment with just the infrastructure. So this will be considered as that you're just leasing the infrastructure. You're not getting anything else. But the second option is that you can get a semi-furnished apartment. Semi-furnished apartment is that you get some appliances and the infrastructure. So that is an example of platform as a service. And I'll go back to that page. So the first example is, this is infrastructure as a service. So you're asking Microsoft that, you manage the infrastructure and we manage all our applications. So exactly like in this apartment, this apartment is owned by somebody else. They need to maintain it, but you need to bring your appliances. You will be responsible for your own appliances, your own furniture. In the second option, the owner will be responsible for the appliances, even the fridge and the other appliances, plus the infrastructure. And you will be bringing your own furniture. So this is an example of platform as a service, in which AWS will provide the infrastructure. Also, AWS will manage some of the applications, and then you will be responsible for your business side of the applications. The third option is this option where you get a fully furnished apartment. Fully furnished apartment is that the owner will be responsible for everything. This is an example of SaaS. So now, in light of this, let's try to understand this here example. So in a physical data center, you are responsible for everything. So when you go to a cloud provider and the cloud provider is saying, would you be interested in infrastructure as a service? You're saying, okay, so what do you have other than infrastructure service? The AWS team will let you know that there is platform as a service and there is software as a service. So if you go with infrastructure as a service, so in all the cases, in all 3 of them, the infrastructure is AWS responsibility. So the cloud provider's responsibility. AWS will always be responsible for networking, storage, server, and virtualization. So this part is all covered. But in infrastructure as a service, you will still be responsible for your operating system, your runtime, your data, your application. But if you move, so this is cheaper solution as compared to PaaS and SaaS. But if you go to the next level and you're saying, your company is saying, I don't want to be responsible for operating system. But so what do you have to do in operating system? So every year, I mean, every month or every few months, you need to update these operating systems. First of all, then you need to basically not only update these operating system, you will from time to time, you will need to upgrade the operating system. Then you need to have antiviruses and this and that and everything you need to be responsible. But now you're saying, no, I will be responsible for my application, but rest of the stuff you will be responsible. So this is like a semi-furnished apartment. So this is platform as a service. Obviously, this will be much more expensive than this here. IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. The last one is software as a service, in which the cloud provider is responsible for everything. The cloud provider will be responsible for everything, and your part will be to use that application. And Office 365 is one of the examples. And then there are CRM systems, there are SAP systems, there are business applications. So in this is an expensive option, but then you don't have to worry about the infrastructure. How many services do we use in our daily life that are SaaS solutions, like OneDrive? OneDrive, when we use OneDrive, how many people use OneDrive or Google Drive to save data? We are using Google Drive here. So Google Drive is an example of SaaS solution. You don't have to maintain the storage. You don't have to do anything. You just save files on Google Drive. So Google Drive is one of the example. Then you have OneDrive is an example, Office 365. So there are many services. So just one more time before I move on, there are 3 different cloud models: public, private, and hybrid. And most of the time when you go for a admin level job interview, they will ask you question about this. What do you know about public, private, and a hybrid cloud model? Hybrid is easy when you connect private and public with each other, and public is completely public, which is exists on internet, owned by these big cloud providers. And then they would ask you, what is the reason why would company need to keep a private cloud when there is an option for public cloud, and it's cheaper and it's not expensive? So the reason is that some services, some applications are required to be inside the organization. You can take an example of any sensitive data, sensitive information. For that reason, you can remember. So private, public, and hybrid. Then you have the second, we discussed the cloud servicing offering, which is known as IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, and SaaS, which is software as a service. So these are different examples of different cloud offerings. How do you remember? You can remember that from that metaphor that we just discussed. Just an unfurnished apartment, semi-furnished apartment, and fully furnished apartment. So that is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS solution in cloud. Now, in terms of here, what is so Gartner is one organization. This is a report from Gartner. It is from 2017, but 2019 is the same one. AWS is still the top cloud provider, and Microsoft and Google is the third one leading. So that's this report is showing that which cloud provider is most famous at the moment. So at the moment, AWS is at the top, and Microsoft is following up. For us who are looking for a job in this market, this is enough for us to see that there is a huge requirement in these 3 organizations. So AWS and Microsoft as being a cloud provider. Okay, Abdul is asking a question, why it says host build. Abdul, where are you seeing this message?
Oh, on your previous slide about the SaaS, PaaS, and
Here,
yeah,
host build. Host build, where does it say host build?
okay. Next slide. The picture of the PaaS. Picture of the PaaS, SaaS.
Okay, okay, yes, okay, so that one. Um
Yes, you say host, build, and consume. So
Okay,
what does
yes.
it
So
mean for
here,
individuals?
so host build simply means that this model is basically you're managing, uh, so you're managing the host. Uh, you're so if you look at the infrastructure here, you're not managing the infrastructure, but basically you're hosting the applications. You're hosting your operating system and all. Whereas in the second one, it is the build. You just need to, so basically the build refers to that you're only responsible for the application and not the infrastructure. And the third one is consume, meaning you don't have to do anything. You just need to consume or use that application. So that refers to IaaS, PaaS, and software as a service. Okay. And so basic fundamentals of cloud computing. So we just discussed cloud computing service model, SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. Whereas we also discussed private models, which is private public cloud and hybrid cloud and community cloud. Community cloud refers to now all of these cloud providers have government, the gov part of the cloud as well. So the cloud that Amazon offers is one part. So they offer it to the public. So they offer it to the public. And they also have a special offering for government. So government cloud. So government cloud, in government cloud, they don't offer any services. So at this part, I mean, this is one thing. The government part is referred to as a community cloud within these cloud providers. Community cloud is also being offered by these other organizations that offer special cloud services like just software as a service, platform as a service, software as infrastructure, hardware as infrastructure. So later on, we will be discussing that, but these are special cloud offering by these other companies. So most of the time it will be private, public, and hybrid cloud offering. So Abdul asked a question, what is the job responsibility of SA or a cloud admin? Yes, so the job responsibility of a SA and a cloud admin is right here. So since you will be working with the cloud provider, you will be responsible for all this red area. So the red color that you see, you will be responsible for networking, storage, servers, and virtualization. So cloud admin is responsible for maintaining all this with the cloud provider. Now, then your next question will be, what is the difference between an admin and an architecture? So admin is a person that manages this infrastructure, a running infrastructure, whereas architect is a person who designs these infrastructures. So architect is a person that goes into an organization, so goes into Rogers, let's say, Rogers organization. Roger will have, let's say, 4,000 servers to be migrated to cloud. So as an architect, your responsibility is to analyze all these servers and come up with a complete migration plan. So migration plan. So moving 4,000 servers from on-premises to cloud, this is not a one-person job, but so there will be a team of architects working with this. They come up with a design, and then cloud admins are the one that implement these services. So once the architect comes up with a design saying that, so these 4,000 server will be moved from 1 to 2 years. First of all, it will take 1 to 2 years to move them within cloud, and then they need to divide these servers into different years. So at the end of this training, I will have one session of complete migration once we finish AWS and once we finish GCP. So at the end, one lecture, we will focus on migration, and I'll give you all the migration strategies at that point. But here, just to give you the answer, admin is responsible for managing the infrastructure. Architect is responsible for designing the infrastructure. Obviously, architect, in order to become an architect, you need to be an admin for some time. Then you can jump into the architect level. Can you go for certification directly as an architect? Yes, you can directly take the architect certification before admin. But then in order to get that real experience, I would say work as a cloud admin. But getting an architect certification is an asset for many organizations. They would prefer an architect more than admin. So here we already discussed this slide. I'm going to quickly skim over the slide. Let me see the time here, and time is 9:41. Okay, so 9:41, 10 more minutes with these. I'm going to spend 10 more minutes with the slide, and then so we will try to create an account. So let me know how many of you have already created an account in Azure. Please type that in the chat window. So here, advantages of cloud computing. So we know that the advantages of cloud computing: cost efficiency, less cost, no upfront cost. Thank you, Ajmal. Thank you. Noshin created an account. Sayed, console ready to roll. Excellent. Atif created an account. Please let me know how many of you have created an account. And if you need any help, let me know. So there is a link that I shared in the chat window. Everyone start creating an account. We have last 20-25 minutes here, so that if you have any questions in regards to creating an account, you can post it here. Guys, in this training, we'll be working as a team. So we will be working as a team. Some people have more knowledge than others. Please be ready to help each other. So from next lecture, we will be creating groups, and with the groups, I advise that each one of you, so during the week, have 1 or 2 sessions among your group. To complete the lab, to work together with each other, to actually help the people who are completely new and enhance their experience. So just like most of the time I mentioned this in my trainings, that when you learn something, when you can become an expert, but when you teach something, you master it. So spend time with others who needs help, and then teach them. This will give you, this won't, you won't lose anything, but you will gain a lot. So here, cloud advantages: cost efficiency. It's very high speed. You can just install a new server within minutes. In physical environments, in order to install a new server. So what is the process of installing a new server in a physical data center? Physical data center, in order to create a new server, first you need to buy a new server. Number one, in order to buy a new server, first you will send a request to the finance team, that logistics. Before that logistics, you need to send a request to the finance team. Finance team will take it, and they will look at the budget, and they will approve it. And once it is approved, you will send the request to the vendor. Vendor needs to see if the server is available. If it's not available, then they will request the server from wherever they need to request from. So that will take anywhere from 2 to at least 8 weeks. The quickest is 2 to 6 weeks in order to get a new server. Normally, getting a new server in any organization in a physical data center is like finance, vendor, then delivery, and all that. It takes anywhere from 1 to 2 months in order to get a server. But in cloud, you can start a server within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes. So once you're on the console, you can start creating a server. It takes only 5 minutes to create a server. And so the high speed, and then you have batch processing, you have data backup, you have strategic edge, you have manageability, excellent accessibility. We'll go through all that during this journey through AWS Cloud Training. Azhar asked a question. Could you please share the link once again to the cloud? And so if anyone has access to the link, otherwise I'm just going up and trying to get that link. The link is right here. So guys, one more thing that I would, okay, sorry. So I am copying to everyone. Okay, so now a quick comparison between Azure and AWS services. So this will be a very good, these slides will be very good for all of the students who have completed Azure training. For all of the new students that are here for AWS training, we will be going through all these services right from the basics in AWS. But here I wanted to add these slides so that our students who have completed Azure training. So in the cloud technology, we have three main areas of focus in the cloud technology, any cloud technology: compute. So you need to learn compute, you need to become an expert of compute, an expert of storage, and expert of networks. So three things are absolutely required. You need to become an expert of all three. Then you can become an expert of databases. That's an additional stuff. But as being a cloud admin, you need to become an expert of these three areas. So here I'm going to compare the both of them. Noshin is asking, how do we learn Microsoft Azure? Noshin, we just finished this training. So we run these trainings every 3 to 4 months. You can, whenever the next training is there, you are most welcome to enroll. Otherwise, I mean, so for now, if you're enrolled in AWS training, there is no need there is no dependency on Azure training. So this is completely different, and Azure is completely different. But once you finish AWS training, it will be really a breeze to go through Azure training. And this is what I said to all the Azure students as well. Once you start working, all of the people who already know Azure, they'll be flowing inside the training. Flowing means all of the concepts they already know. They just need to understand the terminologies here. So to answer your question, there is no dependencies, so you don't need to worry about that. If somebody doesn't know Azure, you won't be able to understand AWS. No, these are two different technologies. So here, in terms of compute, so okay, so going back, okay, so we have 12 more minutes before the last half an hour. Yes, so in this 12 minutes, I'll go through these slides, and then the last half an hour will just focus on the lab. So our goal for today is that we need to have AWS account. So we need to have an AWS account today. So if you are creating an account, let me know in the chat window. And if you need help, also let us know in the chat window. You can also, there are many people sitting here who have AWS account. While I'm going through this, they'll be able to help you out, and I will be able to help you out here as well. Guys, so here we have another question. Can I get, Nawaz is asking if he can get a recording of this training. Yes, absolutely. It is. The session is completely recorded, and you can go through the recording later on. And then Sayed is saying, are we going to create EC2 instance tonight? Probably not. You can try to create on your own, Sayed. The reason why we are not able to create, because we need to first understand before EC2, I want to go through IAM services, the security, the type of accounts there are. But you're most welcome. Everyone, try to play around with the console, and but remember, whenever you create a service, delete the service at the end. Please delete the service, because otherwise it will be charged against your account. There won't be huge big charges. There might be maybe few cents charged if you leave them like 24 hours, depending on what service you have left. So if you've created a database, there will be charged more. If you've created just a simple instance, there will be there is charged like on per minute. So here on this screen, so we are comparing the services so that you can remember. First of all, for all of the participants, all the students here, take this training as you are trying to become an expert of your notebook, of your laptop. I mean, if I ask you that you need to become an expert of your laptop, then what do you need to learn about your laptop? So laptop, when we start learning about a new laptop, so what would you do? So you would go to a computer store, you would buy a new laptop, and what is in the laptop that you're more interested in? You're more interested in using the laptop for internet, right? And then and what do you need to know about the laptop? The laptop has storage. So first of all, the processing, it has the CPU inside, how fast the laptop is. When you go to a computer store, so guys, what are we trying to understand? The goal of this slide is that we are trying to understand what is compute, what is storage, and what is network. So just the names are different. We are already familiar with these concepts in our real life. So which is like, so when you buy a new notebook, it has a CPU. So CPU, when you go into the market, you will definitely say, you know, I need a laptop for a home, and the computer store guy would ask you, would you be interested in i5, or would you be interested in i7, or would you be interested in i3? You would ask, what is i5, i7, i3? They would let you know that this is a fastest CPU, then this is slower than i7, and this is slowest CPU. And obviously this is the cheapest one, this is more expensive, this is the most expensive CPU. So based on your requirement and budget, you will buy a laptop. So first thing is CPU. You're interested in the speed of the laptop. Let's say you get a i5 CPU in this. Secondly, how much disk you will have in this laptop. So the disk can be anywhere from 500 GB to let's say 1 TB. And this happens every time when you go to a computer store to buy to get a laptop, to get a new notebook. You will need to check these things. So CPU, disk, and at the same time, the third thing that you're interested in knowing is the memory, the RAM in this laptop. So memory, how much RAM? Because RAM is basically the one that makes your machine faster or slower. So most of the time, the RAM is anywhere between 8 GB to 16 GB in a normal laptop. You can increase that. So 16 GB in a normal laptop. Then other than that, all of the laptops they come with their Wi-Fi connections and internet. Okay. So, I mean, in order to understand compute, storage, and network in a cloud, if you know this already, and I'm sure all of you know these when you buy a new notebook, this is exactly what we are talking about. Whenever in a cloud technology we refer to compute, compute is always referred to how much CPU will you have, and also how much RAM you will have. So two things make up the compute resource. So whenever we talk about compute, compute is always about a virtual machine. So when we create a virtual machine, the two main things that we need is CPU and memory. So compute, they call it compute as a collective, but in reality, in your mind, you can have a definition of compute. It's all about CPU and memory. Second thing is storage. Storage is just a disk. So what type of disk you would need on this VM, on this virtual machine, on this server? So that will be part of the storage. And then the network, which type of network this virtual machine will be sitting in. So from this quick explanation, we understood that now we know what is compute in cloud, what is storage in cloud, what is networking in cloud. So in light of this, let's look at this here, that what is these services called in AWS. So in AWS, all the VMs are referred to as EC2. So EC2, whenever you say EC2, whenever this word comes to our mind, this says nothing but a virtual machine. And for all of the new participant, new people to IT, it is just nothing but a computer. So EC2 refers to a computer. So if I say that Ali, create 10 EC2 instances, so I'm saying create 10 VMs or create 10 computers. So EC2 refers to a computer, and EC2 basically EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud. So they just short it to EC2 because there are two C's inside Elastic Compute Cloud, and there is a full chapter on this, by the way.
In AWS also we have some limitations, like for free subscription you can have only 4 CPUs or what?
So AWS, so it's yes, it's a good question. The question, everyone, is in Azure there was a limitation that when you get a VM, you can only get 4 vCPUs. So you can create either 4 VMs with 1 CPU, or you can create 1 VM with 4 CPU. That was a limitation. But in EC, in AWS, there is a different limitation. Number one, there are only specified EC2 instances that are for the free tier. For the free tier, number one, not all sizes of instances are available for free tier, only specified, and I will show you which ones. And plus there is a limitation of use of that EC2 instance. So there is no restriction on the use of vCPU, but there is a use of 740 hours of use. So which means that once you start an EC2 instance, and during this year, you cannot use this in EC2 service more than 740 hours, which is a lot. So you can have many instances running at the same time, but many instances collectively, then it can accumulate more time. But in these labs, I mean, I've not seen any student getting past this 740 hours within the year. So there is a limitation, but it's the limitation on the use of EC2 instances. It's a good question. Okay, so Ravi saying that I have to leave now. Please do not forget to forward the recording. Yes, so everyone who is interested in continuing with this, please leave your email address and your contact details so that our course coordinator Amin Bhai can list you in and will share with you all the training resources. Okay, so the next one is, so what is the time? I'm just looking at that time now.
I have a question, Adnan.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I'm trying to create the account in AWS, and there is a question. It says personalize your experience. My role is select a role, and I'm interested in select a area.
Right. So here,
what would be my role?
Here you can select, I think, anything related to training. Hold on.
Why I did not get all these options? I created the account.
You didn't get all these options?
No.
Or probably you were very fast in creating the account.
Maybe you have to check if I have done it correctly or not.
No, you did. You did it correctly. Once the account is created and you're logged into the portal, the account is there. And there are only 2 options, free tier. So this link is for free tier. So in that, are you getting any options for the selecting a role?
Yeah, it says like
academic or learning certification.
I don't see that, but there is an option for student.
Yes. So we are.
Also, if you don't select the free tier, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, and also I'm interested in which area.
And what are the
It says
options?
big data analyst, content delivery, enterprise application, DevOps, gaming, Internet of Things, learning and certification.
Learning and certification.
Oh, wow.
It's learning and
Okay.
certification. Okay. So, you know,
Thank you.
yes, you're most welcome. So now so I think I will show you how to create an account properly, and we will start with this slide in the next lecture, and we'll go into more detail. So let me get an email address here so that I can create an account, and let's see that if you are able to create that account. So once the account is created and you're logged into the portal, I already have one account, and I will be creating another account. So before that, I need to get an email address. Okay. So in order to create this account, what I would do, I would go to this link, and I'll share that in a moment right here. Okay, so the link is okay, you know, I'll start from the beginning on my own. So right here, what am I looking for? I am looking for AWS free tier. So everyone, if you are following, if you can follow me in creating this account, please create an account. Otherwise, this is being recorded and you can follow the video as well. So AWS free tier account. And once we create this, try to create this account here, and I will go to create free tier account. It will always be free, and 12 months of free services and free tier. It's called free tier. Okay. And here I would create a new AWS free tier account. So in this, I need to provide an email address, and email address I am going to provide is
You can put the same MCP account, whatever, it's okay.
I already have many accounts, so I'm just looking for the one that is not in use. And you know, the account has to be legit because you need that verification email. Okay, so I think this is fine. Canopus Academy, Canada. Okay, and then the password will go with a simple password. And here, this is the account name, which is like a username. So here I'm gonna say this is Canopus Academy. And I hope that this is not in use. And next. Okay, and it's asking for those, you know, nowadays we are so used to creating these registration because there are so many applications that we register for. So most of the time this registration is not a hassle. It shouldn't be a hassle. So 8 and C. So now here I need to provide, so what do I need to provide here? I need to provide, okay, I'll just provide some and phone number. Phone number, okay. I will provide a phone number, which is.
So you are creating a professional account, Brother Adnan, not a personal account?
Yes, I have to change that. It is
That's
personal.
why I did a mistake, I think. Change to personal, I professional.
Okay, okay. So that's why, yes. Okay, so this is a personal account. Thank you for the reminder. And here I'm just gonna provide my so this
like,
one
do
is.
I have an option to change to personal now?
Mm, you created a professional account, you get, but it's still a free tier. I think check that out, but I don't think so. Once you create a type of account, then you cannot change it. You'll just have to recreate it, as far as I know. But you know, maybe it might be an option.
They will be charging me again $101.35.
And then they might not believe you that you're using it for the, you know, for personal.
Yeah.
So do I need to get the address? Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just, you know, quickly add in all of the values here so that I can move to the next step. So here I need to provide the address. How many of you, all of you have created the account? We have 33 participants. I mean, okay, so there might be some computers as well. So anyone has any issue? So before the next lecture, which means tomorrow's lecture, we need to have an account, everyone.
I will send an email to them to change it if they can do it. Otherwise, I have to continue with professional.
But you know, I would say that create up for personal, because there might be different charges for professional, or maybe different policies for professional. So, I mean, just create another account. Should it be, is it a big hassle?
Why should I pay $1.35 again?
No, for personal, I was not charged for on my credit card when I.
So they actually don't charge you. You actually have to select personal and then the student option. So you actually didn't look at what they were saying. So if you create a new one with new email, you should be fine.
Also, they will refund it to you automatically.
Yes, and I think Shakil doesn't want to go into that, asking for, you know, sending that email. So personal, they won't charge for sure.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay. And I am on this screen where I need to enter the credit card information. Okay. So I hope everyone has created the account. Anyone has any issue with the account creation? Okay, so I'm getting past the, I'm getting past this here with the phone verification. So phone verification is, okay, so how can I be wrong so many times? So 7 capital Y A.
Click speakers.
Click speaker, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. What? I mean, this is clear. WBW 5.
I think everything is lowercase.
Yes, everything is lowercase and it should go now. Okay, good. So should be able to get this verification. Okay, that is 0464 and verify. Excellent. Okay, so now we are here with the basic plan. There is developer's plan, business plan. So there is fees. So we're going with the free tier. And next is welcome. So our first stop will be sign into the console. So within sign in, there are two types of users when we create these this account. There is IAM user and there is root user. So root user is the one that we created with. So root user is the account that has full privilege to all your cloud services, and IAM user are the one that we will create inside. So we will create inside once we are in our portal, and so if you need to provide access to the portal to other users, then those will be IAM users. What we'll do, we will start working with root user, but later on we will create an IAM user with an access to resources to us in later on. So we will test that out later. And I need to remember my email address, and that was, I think, Kenneth. Now, once we are in the portal, so here, so this is the main screen. This is the main, you can say it's the dashboard where you can see EC2 instance, billing, and AWS organization. Here you can build a solution. They will provide you with a guide and a virtual lab as well. But here are all of the services. So here, if you go to services, within services, you can see that all of the services are like hundreds of services here. And all the time, they keep on updating these services. Okay, so many of you have provided your email address. Thank you for that. And so in terms of questions, the question is like Azure and users, AD users. So Atif asked a question. So when we were at the IAM, there are two types of users. Number one is root user, the one that we have logged in with. And the second user is IAM user, like Active Directory user, or yes, the directory user. Now, within this portal, other than services, right here at the top, you can see the region where you are in. It is very, very important to understand that you need to remember which region you are working in. So guys, just stay with me in the last these 15 minutes. It's very, very important to go through this and have a good understanding. Now, what happens is that it's different from Azure. So we are in AWS, and in AWS, whatever region you're working in, you need to remember whichever region you're working in. So most of the time we do everything in US East Virginia region, because this is where everything starts from. So they launch all of their services, new services in this region, and here in this region, all services are present. Now, what is the meaning of all services present in this region and not in other regions? The reason is that here you can see there are hundreds of services. So if I go to services, there are hundreds and hundreds of services. For example, under compute, there is service called EC2, there is service called Lightsnail, there is service called Lambda, then Batch, then Elastic Beanstalk, and all these, but not necessarily all these servers are present in all the regions. So for example, this service Light Snail service, it's a brand new service. So this might not be present in all of the regions. So for that reason, you can check different regions. You can create resources on any region in the free tier. But the important thing to remember is that if you create a resource in any region, you need to remember it. So the common mistake people do is that, let's say one day you created something in Canada Central region, created a EC2 instance in Canada Central region, and then you change your region to Virginia, US East Virginia region, and then you started working in this region. But what happens is that you won't be able to see in the dashboard that there are resources sitting in the Canada Central region, and you will be charged for this until once you get a bill, and at the end of the bill, within the bill, it will show you that this bill is for these VM instances that are sitting in that other region. So for that reason, always remember that which region you're working in. And if you're working in one region, just keep on working in one region. I would prefer, I always create labs and work in East Virginia region. This has the most services. Plus, if you're working in one region, I remember that if I create resources, I will delete them at the end. So remember, unlike Azure, in Azure, in the dashboard, you see different resources, which resources are created in which regions, and you see them all under dashboard. But by default here, you won't be able to see all of the resources that are being created in other regions as well. So that's one thing to remember in this. So I'll change the region right from the start to East region here. Number one. So now I am in this region.